Let it go. 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 Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go. Yeah, let's let go. Yeah, let it go. Help me let it go. Master Jesus, let it go. Yeah, help me let it go. Go, 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 go. Oh, let it go. I'm trying, let it go. Give your heart to Jesus. Let it take control. Just say to worship. I know it hurts you, and I know it's painful. No way to wait, so you have to let it go. Your best friend is not your secret enemies. Let it go. Your wife is getting married to another man. Your husband are falling in love with another woman. Don't let it bother you. I say let it go. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you because you don't have nobody, if they say you will continue to be a zogo, if they say you will continue to be a prostitute, if they say you will continue to be a beggar, you will not marry, you will not bear your own children. If they say your knee is borrow, Sunday go to meeting, mommy can say no, Johnny Ginger. Just let it go. Jesus will change your story. Let it go. 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 Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go, man.
All right, good evening and welcome. This is Informative News Magazine, All Things Considered. Today I'm going to be talking to Dr. Jeremiah WHOPOE, a major opposition factor in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia.
Hello, hello. Nobody do it like you do it. You a true God. Yes. You always hear me when I say my prayer with few words. But Jenna said, in the plenty in this new world, we devour every day. Now while I'm still a good boy. Jehovah bigger than your problem, so just let it go. Just keep on praying, he will make your blessing overflow. To be the best and more the rest, you gotta pray more the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the God of mighty blow. But there is power in your blood. I wanna give you praises. Yes. I gotta dance and David did. They think I'm getting crazy. But let us how you make it, brother. May not be. Every time I sing, I'm on my knees, begging God for mercy. Thank you for your love, blessing, and forgiveness. You solved my problem, Lord. You took me from the wilderness. Not only you can keep my struggle when I'm really stressed. So my papa bless me, then my enemy they get best. No matter what the problem is, man, just let it go. Your delay is not your denial. Everybody know. Just keep on trusting in Jehovah. He will give you more. He took me from the grass. He can take you from the rocky road.
All right, tonight we're going to have a fascinating program here. I'm Alfonso Zia and so of the Liberia Public Radio. Well, so we're going to be having the program very shortly. Stay tuned. And let's see that get the ball rolling right here. Let us go, let us go, let us go, let us go. Welcome. This is the Liberia Public Radio. Good evening, and welcome to the Liberia Public Radio. I'm Alfonso Zia, and so right here from the New England Bureau, we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Well, my team going to be joining me here very shortly, and we're going to be having a conversation wherever you are. Just hit the share button, and I invite someone at your company, the best of political team, analysts, and contributors of the Liberia Public Radio. We're going to be right here this evening, all things considered. We're going to be looking at specific issue as well. Putting it into context, a major opposition leader in Liberia is rewriting history. How did we get here? And is that how they're going to be when they become take state power in Liberia? Dr. Jeremiah WHOPOE going to be here to make his case. Amos Joyce, the liberal progressive, Samson Brown told Professor Asese Labozawo, they are all best commentators and analysts of the Liberia Public Radio. They will be here, as well as Mr. Sam Jackson from the liberal state of Massachusetts. And of course, I am Afonso Zienso right here at the New England Bureau Desk of the Liberia Public Radio. This is All Things Considered. You saw the picture that I just put up there. That was the president of president of Cote d'Ivoire, Alassane Dramane Ouattara, and former president Laurent Gbagbo in a solidarity stand. Yes, after the decades, the two people, they never met. But in the interest of their country, they met. When will we see the opposition in Liberia to also reach out? Let's assume the president is not reaching out. But when will we see that? Look here, and this is getting to reality ridiculous. They are the one there, they're putting their hands up, they're standing by themselves. When would they at one of these days to see them in a same mode? Let's go to neighboring Cote d'Ivoire, and because of that here, I see them as I see that move in Cote d'Ivoire as the news of the week, of a possible news of the month. So, in the interest of African solidarity, I will take you to neighboring La Cote d'Ivoire with this song, and we'll be right back.
Salut à toi, Meta ou depuis Oumé. C'est Jean Caï. Voilà le morceau. You do.
Okay, let's get the ball rolling here. That is going on. That's a song that is dedicated to our Ivorian counterpart. And I'm going to be asking Dr. Jeremiah WHOPOE here. I want to see he and the president standing up in the interest of for the good of the country. Where everybody going here to scatter doing their own things, and we're seeing potentially rewritings of the history. How can he make that argument here this evening? We're going to get the program to going. He's standing by in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. He's a major opposition factor. By the way, I have the framework that I put together here. This is the Rainbow Coalition framework. This is the collaboration CPP, WPP framework. These documents, they throw these things at all to confuse or to diffuse or to dilute or. But we're going to take time and give them a fair share to give interpretations of these documents. We're going to have a conversation. I'm tired of reading. I can't get to anything. I'm not finding solutions to this question here. And let me bring in Dr. Jeremiah WHOPOE is standing by, I believe at his headquarters, on his way to the airflow, whatever the case is. Let's have a conversation. Okay. Dr. WHOPOE, good evening and welcome. Check your mic. Are you there? You want to check your microphone? All right, let me get you off. I'm not getting your signal. Let me see here. Let me get you back here. Are you there? Hold on 1 second. I'm not. Are you hearing me now? Okay, let's do this. Go off and come back. Let me take you off. Go and come back. Let's see something is not right. Let me bring in Amos here. Just go and come back. Let me just get you off here. Let me bring in Mr. Amos George. He's a senior contributor to the Liberia Public Radio. Is based in Atlanta, Georgia. They're gonna be here. I'm waiting for the Liberal to come. He said he's a member of the Liberty Party USA. I want to see Wayne Yombly Kanga Lawrence and the rest of the folks going to be in standing. But before I do that, because our correspondent base in Abidjan broke this, and we also saw that on France 24. I'm a news freak, and I always like to go out here. There was a defining moment, and I want you to look at this image here and see the 555 political parties when they were said, even in the midst of this COVID, they're still throwing soundbite. They're pushing one of their own one side. He's not one of them. So what is the guarantee that these people can even lead us? Let's take this here, courtesy of France 24, and you're going to see exactly the solidarity being formed.
Current leader and his predecessor met for the first time in a decade on Tuesday. The political rivalry between President Alassane Ouattara and ex-President Laurent Gbagbo sparked a post-electoral conflict in the country in 2010 that cost 3,000 lives and sent Gbagbo to The Hague to face crimes against humanity charges before the International Criminal Court. Now, he was eventually acquitted and returned home only last month. Despite their history, Ouattara has welcomed Gbagbo at the presidential palace in a display of reconciliation. Anand Fejani tells us more.
This display of reconciliation really was actually what it was. Today was a warm reunion between former rivals Laurent Gbagbo and Alassane Ouattara, who, as you said...
Okay, that is enough. Let me bring in my guy. Let me take this off from here. Or maybe let me just put it here, and then I'm going to be asking Dr. WHOPOE here. He's already here. Guys, are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Amos, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Dr. WHOPOE, are you hearing me? Dr. WHOPOE, your mic is muted. I don't know why. Look at your microphone was muted from your end. All right. Are you there now? We are not getting anything out of you, Dr. WHOPOE. Let me move this here. Are you hearing us? Is your volume off? I guess your volume is off. Mr. George, you hearing me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I think we're having the issue there with from Dr. WHOPOE. You don't even go on airflow here. You start closing your microphone on us when you get there. What's going to happen? The cat going to eat your own baby, right? This is not funny. You guys, I don't understand what's going on in our country there. I need to tell Jeff Bezos, we give that country to Jeff Bezos instead of the blue origins or whatever, and then he take care of it. I try to work on that microphone. Let's see what happened. I'm not sure. It's not coming from my end, of course. Amos Joyce is getting me loud and clear. And for those of you that are listening, I invite the Facebook view. If the audio is perfect from my end, just let me know. I think we're having the audio sign with from Dr. WHOPOE. Let me just take it off here and see. Okay, Mr. George, good evening and welcome.
Yes, sir. How you doing, sir?
Okay, all right, okay. Thank you so much. I'm waiting for the Liberal to join this conversation as well. And the professor, hopefully Professor Asese Labozalo and that of Mr. Jackson from the Liberal state of Massachusetts. Let me see here if Dr. WHOPOE is okay. Dad, are you hearing us now?
He's saying yes. Can you hear us?
I think his mic is I'm not even hearing her, but why are we not hearing him? Can you check your volume to see whether your volume is up to as well? Why not do this? Can you switch off your device and see whether you can come back on?
Let him switch it on and come. Let him lock out and let him come back.
I hold on. Now COVID. Now catch your. Just switch it off and see whether you can turn it off and come back. Okay, let's have it that way. Okay, Mr. George, good evening and welcome. A lot of crazy thing ongoing right now, and I'm sick and tired of what is happening. I intend not to speak about A, but I have to say it because this is the misdirections of the oppositions of their inability to also make a case. All right, let's see here. This is what happens during the week and during the 174th independence anniversary of the Republic of Liberia. Okay, look, we have to put this thing on the scale. We have to be objective. We have to give it as it is. That was the dedication ceremony of the President of the Republic of Liberia of the Somalia draft, now called Japanese whatever. I started by Helen Johnson Sirleaf, but as the saying goes, the race is not to the swift, but he who endures to the end. Trouble started the Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex, but guess what? Who the credit goes to? It went to Samuel Doe, and how can we have the SKD Sport Complex? There was a groundbreaking or whatever potential construction of a playground or playground to park within the Painesville suburb. And I listened to other things, and I seen lack of focus, distraction, whatever president said, what didn't go in the gutter and this one. That is a complete nonsense. How is that relative? How does that feed the Liberian people? If you are opposition and I see their folks, they're running all around with it, I don't care less about it. When I talk to my mother, what she tells me that she wants to know how Grand Gita Road is open, she doesn't want to get on motorbike to go to Grand Gita because she will be dead before she even get near Sisters River. And then when I see people throwing the video all around, I know I'm going to be a hater guy here this evening, but who cares? It's not even good for people to like you. But these people, the lack of sense of direction, they need to hold this government accountable on some other strategic thing. Alexander Cummings is making a headway, making a significant donation, established at what I call a treatment center. That's a different thing by ASAP. They're collaborating, but everybody moving like an octopus, doing their own thing. We turn Liberia over to Jeff Bezos?
No, let me say this, Mr. Also. You see, this business we're in, it's not about the good thing. It's for the bad thing. That one big news. You know news what it is. The person go to speaks to dedicate the role, and that mishap came up.
Check your audio.
People will have to take it. The news will have to take it. But the important thing, the role I have seen the role, and I want Mr. To come here and maybe throw some light on it. That stretch, the safety of the people, very important. Crosswalk, making a U-turn.
Why you guys like to grab things here and there and pouring screens all over the place?
Mr. So,
that's crucial. That's crucial. I mean, that's a constructive criticism there, and I agree with you. I want to give it to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. So.
If it is not there, I haven't taken a review, so if it is
that's
not
why
there,
I'm wondering, because I see the stretch, but I want to see those things come. Mr. So, how can you drive from Painesville to Freeport? There's no U-turn. So I want to see all those structure. What the rail light, the intersection, what those intersections. I want to see it. Mr. So, you're talking about the movement of people, pedestrian. So are you telling me people just get up and just run across our road?
No, that's a critical observation. If it is not there, if there's no crosswalk,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not there. I said I want to see those things and let it press. This is what the local press is supposed to do. Let it drive along that Somalia Drive and see these places. The estates, the intersection there. Are there crosswalk? Are there traffic light? Put there. Are there places that you're supposed to make U-turn? You can't make U-turn anywhere the road. No. Highway will have exit. You miss your exit, you can go the next exit, drive maybe 1 mile or so, get back on the road. So all these things, were they taken into consideration? Now, people should not get me wrong. I have not seen the entire road structure design. I didn't see the design. So I don't know. But Mr. Tor is the engineer. I will let him to come. Maybe he got some contact there to see the safety of that road, the pedestrian, because it's falling, two going, two coming. How people are going to cross that road in certain places? Because you can't just cross the road anywhere as you feel like. No. You can't make U-turn anywhere as you feel like.
Okay, talking about Mr. Todd, the most liberal on this network, he's here. And I want to get his take. I don't know whether he's in support of that crap that is going around. That's not what I'm going to be to doing. He doesn't even know how to get to Total yet. The Liberal Progressive, welcome. Let me see here if I can get a fresh link to our guest here at WAPO. I don't know what happened. Yeah, Mr. Pajoy, just carry on as I try to.
Yeah. So as I was saying, Mr. Toy is an engineer, so I want to ask him. Because I raised an issue, you say I'm wasting time. I'm fighting to read all the clothes on here. So I want to know from him. I've seen the road, but I have not seen the entire structure of the road. My first question I raised was, is there places to make U-turn? Second, are there red lights? Third, are there crosswalks? What are the intersections of the road? Because there are 2 lanes going, 2 lanes coming. And you got some other major already joining that road. So I want to know from him. Maybe he has seen the design, but from that stretch I saw, I did not see no U-turn.
But I'm telling you, we want to give him design. Nobody taking advice from him. The man not cry and cry. Nobody is listening to him. So we want to give him design. The first design he did, he sent it, and the people throw it one side. Like, you know what? This total man here, he's too much. We don't want to follow his design. They did their own thing. That's the ridiculous aspect of these people here.
The road is constructed, but I'm seeing that the engineer or the Minister of Public Works putting those safety measures where to make U-turn, red lights, if there's any need to be. Are there intersections?
Okay, let me hold you right there here. And because of that, we want to give our guys a special assignment to do a exclusive recording, to take a review and send it to this liberal here, and then we can put into check. I don't know whether he has done that. Are you talking to Nyomli Kanga?
Not at all, Mr. So.
Okay, all right, the liberal. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you for having me, and we appreciate it, Mr. Josh. Good evening to you as well. I think it's going to be a wonderful show here again tonight, and I am hoping to see the professor, the good professor here this evening as well. And I'm not too sure whether Mr. WEAH is afraid of the liberal progressive ideas. I believe he think I'm going to try to convert him to come to my way, but apparently no, that's not the intent. But the young man, perhaps he doesn't see reason to listen to the liberal and the liberal view, and so he's running away. He's not coming. Mr. WEAH, good evening. I can't see you anymore.
Well, WEAH, apparently maybe WEAH is on special assignment. I can't speak to him. Okay, let's see here. Our special guest, Dr. WAPO, is here. All right. Let me see why the professor said he's gone back again. I did send a link to him. Let me see here. Let me see. I don't know what's going on, why they are not getting it. I did send that to Professor Zalo as well. All right. What you wish for is what you will get very shortly, the liberal. So the professor is here. Folks, just do a favor, bear with us here a little bit here. We're going to have this conversation going in the shortest possible time, and we will be here. They are quite important. There are a few things I really want to be talking about. And okay, let me get this one here to Professor Zalo. Let me go.
Well, maybe the labor will try to put the water in the drainage so he can look at that.
No, that country, people we are sick.
Mr. So, that is the person of Liberia. It's not you and myself. That is the person of Liberia. That's the face of Liberia.
What the heck? I don't care.
That's besides the point.
Is that the talking point?
But that's Mr. So. That's besides the point. The president did not say he put a gutter in the drainage. The president, I'm not too sure why Liberian people just take one thing and start running with it, making things. The president was speaking, and I give it. What he said was, and I played that tape. I have the entire state stuff here that I use to slow down, to take all the background noise. And if he didn't have that cloth in his mouth, over his face, you would hear it clearly. People are putting their own water in the drainage, and I'm not too sure what does it mean by their own water, but he didn't say gutter. He said water, but because of the clubs in his mouth, and so the word came out as those to say gutter, and those who already have issue decide to run with it, and everybody start following. This is bad. You know, if we're going to be doing things like this, how are we going to take ourselves serious?
Labor, it was not a club.
Mr. George, I will play it, and you will listen to it. I will play it.
Yeah. I think our crew, they were there too. Let's see here what Dr. WHOPOE is getting. Are you hearing us now?
But why his link is not?
I don't understand why. Are you getting us? We're not hearing you at all.
I can hear you.
He can hear you.
Yeah, he can hear us, but we can hear him.
Yeah, several times. It's been perfect. I don't know what happened. I don't know if on the phone when the drainage too and the
why don't you have him on the phone then instead of going through with the video?
You know, we're gonna be flipping here and there too. I'm not sure I don't know what's the deal. If we're called, we're asking to maybe to see which we have did a test before, but he has appeared on this network several times, which of course there have not been a problem. I'm not sure what's happening tonight. I don't know what is happening tonight.
It's a phone if it's on a Wi-Fi. If it's on let him check his Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to see if it's off.
The what?
His Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, is it on his phone?
Check if you get a Bluetooth. I heard your audio is not going to your Bluetooth somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to check if your Bluetooth is on, then the audio is probably going to the Bluetooth. So maybe you want to go to the. What am I bringing the car to for? Your own opposition friends, so enough for me. If you bring it content, you're bringing it for him.
No, I know that he and I we were in Chicago together at one time, having a
conference with audio and
Councilor Pronsky. He made some wonderful presentation that day, and everyone, including my own sister Sarah McKinney, was so impressed. So I know who he is.
So, Dad, you want to check that to see whether your Bluetooth is not on?
Is he using phone on his computer? Which one?
Is that what are you using? He's hearing us, but we're not hearing him. Something not right. If there's a phone, if you're using a phone, then you want to check if it's not connected to your Bluetooth, you want to either disable the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Other than that, it has happened to me, and you know, that's where you just be hearing you talking. If you have a Bluetooth, you want to either go to your setting and disable the Bluetooth and get the audio directly from your device. Okay, because he's writing it. I don't know what else to do. Yeah. Okay, let me just get him off here. Work on it, check on your Bluetooth, and work on it, and then let's go. Gotta get a program going. Okay, but one of the meetings I decided to reach out there. There's a rewriting of history. You say Liberia is not an independent country.
Who's saying that?
Who's saying that? One of your own, or one of your opposition.
Oh, he must have a reason. He must have a reason.
Yeah, and that's what I want to give. That's what I want to have a conversation here. If you were to go to New Dawn newspaper, let me see here if I can even maybe perhaps share that here. We want to see exactly what he's saying and why he's going the way he's going. So we'll see here. I want to know that. And two, and I think one of the main things for us to talk about, I yet to get what the health minister of the Republic of Liberia, his statement. Okay, let's see here. This is Dr. WHOPOE here. If you see here, okay, Dr. WHOPOE, Liberia, not independent nation. And that's one of the reasons we want to have a conversation with him to see why it is, so that we'll see what's going on here. Let me see here. Hopefully he's here with us. Let me see. Let me bring him on here. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. You see, Because the thing you told in Liberia that we are not independent.
The Makato make it working.
There are your I think a storage device.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, no time is fast spent. Our guys, people are anxious to get us welcome. This is your own network, and I really love what you represent in terms of once we reach out there, you're always available. Just adjust your camera, good, and so that people you'll be visible. Yeah, so that okay, right there, good. Okay, Dr. Waputai, good evening, and how is Mama Liberia?
Well, Liberia is in I don't know what I call it. We are here, but I think we are in some depressive mood.
The what?
Depressive mood.
Depressive mood. That's a big one there. Okay, we're going to see, we're going to find out. Joining us now from near the capital of Washington, D.C. is a strong, high core support of the ruling establishment, CDC. Professor Asese Labozawlo is a founder of two major schools in Liberia. He's joining the forum right now. Professor, welcome. We are in a depressive mood, according to Dr. Jeremiah Wapu, of what's a major opposition factor in Liberia. Okay, so let's, gentlemen, this is the dinner for the evening. And folks on the via Facebook and YouTube, welcome. We're going to get a conversation going right now. This guy, Rainbow Coalition history is being rewritten out there, said we are not an independent nation. I had to start with those things here, but I'm getting nervous here when you say that, because I saw people celebrating. I saw the president making a dedications of this role here, and you are speaking to a local dailies, the New Dawn newspaper. So I'm curious here to know, and my panelists as well, if Dr. Wapo is to be elected as the next president come 2023 and inducted into office 2024, what becomes of July 26th day in Liberia? What do you stand on that? Tell us how you got to this point.
Well, first of all, my panelists here tonight, I think they are all informed about what independence is. For example, when you say the child has been emancipated from the home and moved on his or her own, that child is responsible for his or herself, or him or herself. Surely all responsibilities that parents would have had on her, that child takes that responsibility. That's what independence is. That's what we say in the Western world. We say the child has been emancipated, from the home. That means the child is taking responsibility of his home. The child will be able to provide food for him or herself. The child will be able to, when it comes to medical care, the child will do same for him or herself. When it comes to providing security, the child honors school that very seriously, and as we all know. But in this light, when you look at Liberia claiming independence, I see that those cardinal responsibilities as an independent nation, this country is supposed to honor school. The country has not honored school for decades, not only in this administration. Like the President WEAH rightfully stated in his Independence Day address, he said, Liberia is all for nothing, unquote. He said Liberia is all for nothing. And with that, I think he was alluding to Liberia being a failed state over the years. So if you say that this country is an independent nation, how can you be an independent person when you cannot even feed yourself? How can you be an independent person that you cannot even create job for your citizen? How can you be an independent nation when just common malaria has to be treated in neighboring Ghana, where we facilitated their independence? How can you be an independent nation? So up to press time, I don't know the clear definition of Liberia being independent when Liberia is not able to just the basic responsibility that an independent nation is supposed to take. Liberia is not taking it. So I think that Liberia is not an independent nation.
Okay, I'm going to be bringing my team. They are best of political analysts, commentators from different political backgrounds, and they are here. They're all going to form part of this conversation. So let me ask you here quickly here. Is it a view of a personal self or Dr. Jeremiah WHOPOE, or is it a view of your political party? I have a framework of your political party. Is this represent your party as well?
My statement I'm making here is so I take responsibility of my statement is not I'm not representing the Rainbow Alliance here tonight. I'm representing myself. Despite being a member of the Rainbow Alliance, I'm not speaking for the Rainbow Alliance. I'm speaking for Jeremiah Z. WHOPOE.
Yeah, but besides being the Rainbow Alliance, Dr. WHOPOE, you are a leader of a major political party, right?
Yes,
Visions for Liberia Transformation.
that's
And
correct.
I don't usually elevate politicians, people like you, but I respect the work you did here immensely here in the U.S. with now Dr. Lawrence, and this whole thing started years back. Your advocacy, but it seems to me you are being indoctrinated inside Liberia. That's my view. That's my opinion. When you came to this apprehension of Liberia not being an independent nation.
I have held this opinion since Liberia, from the time I was a child. Of course, we all celebrated Independence Day because we saw people celebrating. But when I've come to understand what a real independent nation should be, I don't see Liberia fit. I don't see Liberia fit in that criteria. There's something we call free association. Liberia might have a free association where nobody is encroaching on its territorial limit. But the basic necessity that this country is supposed to provide for its citizen, a basic rule of law, basic, stable, just common stable food that this nation is supposed to have, basic health care that this nation is supposed to provide for its citizen. We might have the nomenclature of independent, but the practicality of independent is not in Liberia. So therefore, a law that is not implemented, a law that disenfranchises people, that is not a law. So therefore, with that in retrospect and in context, I will not consider Liberia to be an independent nation until it can come up and stand as a nation and provide a basic necessity for its citizens as a responsible nation. Until then, I strongly feel that this nation is not an independent nation.
And I'm going to literally put the coil around your neck here this evening, which of course you're a guy who doesn't shy away from the media. So having this as a personal view, you have a political party that is partaking into the political process in Liberia. You have formed a marriage union with the Rainbow Coalition. So let me ask you this question. Have you shared this sort of political ideology with the rest of the political parties that you have joined, formed alliance with?
Of course, I do this all of the time. I don't know why this should be some strange phenomenon when the president of the nation just said that this all for nothing and listed the field.
Is that a president words you are trying to recircumvent?
No, I said this before the president. I've been saying it again and again. And I am happy that the president agreed with me to restate what I've said previously. This is not my first time saying it. I said in 2016, and I said it during the presidential debate when I participated in it. I said it. I strongly feel that this nation is not an independent nation. You cannot say you are independent when you cannot feed yourself. We don't feed ourselves. Well, the hand that feeds you, you depend on that hand. We are dependent nation. We are not independent nation. I mean, we depend on every country around us. Sierra Leone is the one that feeds us with oranges in this country. Guinea is the one that feeds us with peanuts in this country. Burkina Faso, Africa is the country are the countries that feed us with pepper in this country. Our rice coming from across various borders and what have you. And because of this, I mean, we continue to be diving into the dungeon of poverty. What are we bragging about independence when we cannot do anything for ourselves as a nation? What's there to boast of as independent nation? You tell me. Maybe I don't know. I need that education right now.
Okay, you need an education right now. I'm going to bring the best of all political analysts and commentators here, and we're going to put you right here in the high seat. But before I surrender my mic to my guys standing by because they are jotting down questions here. So let me ask you, let me interimly declare you as the president of the Republic of Liberia. And then come July 26th, what will you do? Would that day be cut off? How will you, what would be the description you're going to give that day?
Well, for example, if Jeremiah WAPOE becomes a president and taking office January 1, if the July 26th has to be celebrated, those criteria that a nation supposed to be at before being recognized as an independent nation will be visible in Liberia, thereby being capacitated to celebrate that day. Until that can happen, I think there are a lot of variables that will be coming into play to make sure that that day resembles an Independence Day. It has a characteristic of Independence Day.
Okay, guys, here we are. Let me start from the far right there, Amos George. He's staring at you. Something is running through his hair that I can't predict. But I think other people's civil liberties is being walked over here by Dr. Jeremiah WAPOE, and you have a right to your views and opinion. Amos George,
Yeah.
let me bring you in here. From time immemorial history, it's this July 26th, and he's right. He's been talking it, and he's still standing by his word. But I'm wondering here if he gets on airflow or near within the proximity of airflow, will we have some sort of a tone of political correctness? What do you make of what Dr. WAPOE is saying?
What that good morning, good evening from your front to your end there. What that the WAPOE is saying, this is something is not strange to Liberia. Many people continue to say this thing, and bigger the reason they gave the hate. Once you get enough years, you cannot say you are independent. But I think sometimes to differ away a little bit. You talk about security. We know we went through a terrible war. All infrastructure in Liberia was systems were broken down. Trying to come back to rebuild infrastructure. That you cannot blame it that because of that we are not independent. No, we still have some structure. We are still in the process of building our infrastructure that was damaged by the 14-year civil war. We are trying to put that pieces together. He talked about people continue to give up and or what you call, but this is not one of our Liberia alone. Ghana today is being put on the map, I think, among the 14 richest countries in Africa. Ivory Coast, I think, is put at the 13th place in Africa as one of those countries richest countries in Africa. But all these countries still receive some assistance from outside, other than what they're producing or what they bring as an income. They still receive some assistance from outside. Egypt, that happens to be the second richest country in the world, I think, 3.90 billion now, still receive aid from the worst. Nigeria. So I want to ask that, with all these countries giving some hand off from the West, and what have you, why do you think that Liberia is the only country is receiving aid that is not being independent?
Well, Mr. Moderator, do you want me to respond to that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You are the
Great.
guest.
Thank you so much. I think there's a fine line between those nations that you have called as compared to Liberia. As a member of the Committee of Nations, there's nothing wrong with you exchanging services. What you're talking about sometimes I refer to as exchanging services versus depending on people 100%. And that's the situation that we find ourselves in. Like you said, Ghana is recognized in Africa as one of the richest country that not only rich, but gave some services to its people, which of course I have witnessed when I visited Accra. I witnessed when I visited Ivory Coast. I witnessed when I visited some other countries in Africa. Unlike Liberia, for example, we have a system that doesn't work for the common people. In Liberia, there's a law in the healthcare Ministry of Health Policies that says that 19 United States dollars is spent on every citizen of Liberia, from the genesis of this nation up to present time. 19 United States dollars is spent yearly on every citizen that dwell within the confines of Liberian borders. Some of you were here before you went to the great United States where you are right now, like me. Okay, so how many of us ever received that money that is supposed to be spent on our health care? Today, I'm 52 years old. If I count my $19 down 52, which I have not received, where is that money going? Okay, so if we talk about receiving assistance, these are countries that they are exchanging services, they are exchanging something for something versus Liberia. That when you get pepper from Burkina Faso, what do you exchange with Burkina Faso? When you get oranges from Sierra Leone, what do you receive from Sierra Leone in exchange? When you have a elite political institution that have hegemony over Liberia economy, where if you do not work in the government, you do not benefit from the government. That's it. I do not really, another thing, let me throw out there, maybe you can judge me on it, is that I do not really consider what we have in Liberia as a government. I consider it as a private enterprise that is being managed by a now president and then presidents who have come and gone. So if you have a leadership, if you have a government, the government is supposed to be able to care for its people, supposed to provide, protect the citizens, provide services for the people. But this is the government that does not respect this government, in particular, in other previous government. These are government that do not respect the rights of the citizenry. When somebody,
I have
I'm coming out.
I hear you carrying still government. You say we don't have a government in Liberia?
What we have here is a private enterprise.
So
it's not government.
So then why are you calling the government?
I say what we have in Liberia is a private enterprise, not a government. I said that. And I mean it. And why do I call it private enterprise? It is private enterprise because people that work in the government, they are the ones that receive from the government. If you do not work in the government, you don't benefit. That's the way companies work. Even some company, if you do not work with them, your children that stay home, they qualify for healthcare, they qualify for insurance. Do we have that in Liberia? If you're not working for the government to take pay, you don't benefit for the government. So why do people pay taxes? Why do people pay taxes here? And this, what we have in Liberia, we need to have, instead of having what we have as a private enterprise that is being managed by individuals from time immemorial or to present time, we should have a government that will cater to the well-being of the Liberian people. That's not what we have here. What we have in Liberia is a private enterprise that tells the citizens, say, you're on your own. And in our administration, if Jeremiah WHOPOE having to be president of Liberia, we're not going to run on your own government. We're going to run government that will cater to the welfare and the need of the Liberian people. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Let me hold you right there. You seem to be start getting on the skin of folks here, onliners and the panelists here. Okay, the Liberal they're stressing here because it seems like you are infringing on civil liberties. The Liberal.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. So. And again, good evening, good luck. I think you and we met one time in now DC, but Chicago when Liberty Party had some leadership meeting out there sometime a long time ago. And those of you that were there in the hall that day, listened to you, and in fact you talked to the board. Where Mr. Victor Smith at the time was trying to be almost sacrifice secretary, but you talked to the board, not just what you were explaining, but you decided to demonstrate that. So I am quite aware of your level of education. Despite that you're a PhD, of course, Doc, you're way up there. However,
thank you, I appreciate it.
However, sir, I think. And I've been on my own show and even on this show that continue to suggest that those of you who are highly educated are not doing Liberia a favor or doing any kind of good service to the country. As young as you are, as intelligent as you are, as smart as you are, with all these brilliant ideas that you have, I don't believe that those things can only manifest themselves in terms of good leadership just to become a president. I think those kinds of quality can be utilized in the House of Representatives, in the Senate, with this kinds of quality that you have, with this kinds of understanding of what the government and what the institution's supposed to be. With you or if you were in one of those positions, senator or representative, then other young people, just like you, like-minded people, will come to you and perhaps help to change the system. But hoping to be the president of the Republic of Liberia, as though only the presidencies will allow you or give you the ability to change the country, which I find that a little bit disheartening, because your talent is being wasted, to be honest with you. Because if you were to be successful to become a representative, to become a senator, with that knowledge, you would surely be in command of what is happening in the Liberian Senate, in the Liberian representative. Because those people that we're looking at right now, if people like you with your caliber to be in that position, one of these 30,000 and what have you, it's not going to come your way. Even if it did, it will be done equally with the understanding of the people that you're going to be representing, because I know you have that ability. So the idea of saying Liberia is not independent, I'm not going to quarrel with you on that, because I sympathize with your position. In as much education you have, you could have stayed right here, and you were here. You get all your education. You were here making a decent living. I was in Chicago. I saw where you look like, making a decent living. Mr. So, hold on 1 minute, please. This is the liberal on the floor, please, if you don't mind. Making a good, decent living in this country. But yet still you decided you want to migrate to Liberia, where the sun is giving problem, the rainy season, and the mosquito, with all those kinds of ills of Liberia. You decided you want to be there to be able to change the system from within. So I sympathize with you. But what I was suggesting, and I'm not going to quarrel about Liberia as an independent, I'm not even going to go with the Semitic and all that kinds of good stuff. Whatever it is that you think, the only classification or only character that I'm going to say today is that perhaps it's coming out of frustration, knowing you with your ability, with your understanding of government, and this is not being applied in that country. Perhaps the frustration taking you then to come up with those kinds of conclusions. But I will suggest to you, finally, sir, that I think do us a favor. You're very smart, intelligent. I'm not saying it because you've been here. Like I said, I've seen you, and I've enjoyed many of your writings. Please seek the interest of the Liberian people by representing us in the lower house or in the Senate. Not necessarily to be president. You can't be president. But I think if you come from that route,
are you here to
come in to be president, then I think you will be able to help us out. Mr. So, what's your question?
Are you here to form a partisan collaboration?
Mr. So, I don't want this young man talent to be degraded by the frustration of the country, of the government that is not functioning correctly. Mr. So, did you see an Indian man feeding? Mr. So, did you see an Indian man? Did you see an Indian man feeding 40,000 or 4,000 Liberians on the sun, line up, young Liberians? Indian men feeding Liberians. These are kinds of frustration that get people like the good doctor to come up with these kinds of conclusions. So let us try, when we have the opportunity, let's try to express and appreciate him, but at least suggest also, I would say, that he goes the route that I'm suggesting and help us to lead.
This is how you get the country into danger. Dr. WHOPOE is here to answer tough questions, and you are making Salah chicken with ribs and all of that to serve him. That's not why.
Mr. Sal, are you insinuating that this gentleman should not express his opinion?
Oh, he does that all the time. That's what he does. That's what he's good at. He's good at sanctioning me. That's who he is.
Okay, I'll surround that.
Bring your tough question and see. Let's see you and myself who will be tougher on their friend when it comes to Liberia. Bring your tough question.
Okay, so let me go to a professor. But do you want to respond to what Samson said before I go to Professor Zawo?
Well, sure. What happened is this. I sincerely empathize with your opinion. Those are considerations that needed to be looked at. They were looked at before, but what happens is this. For example, if you look into the house that we have right now, that's a rubber stamp house, and if you went there and you won for a bill that you will write to pass, one way or the other, you have to compromise certain values of yours before stuff happens. And this is not a Jeremiah. And let me be frank with you. My pursuit to become a president of this nation does not necessarily mean that I'm desperate. I am not desperate for anything. You know, when I was in the United States, I make $7,500 2 weeks. That was my salary. All right. So relatively, I made decent money before coming here. But I am not desperate for anything. But there are few things that I'm desperate to see in Liberia. When if I'm not a president, I wouldn't mind becoming a cabinet minister to somebody. I wouldn't mind serving a government in the front page that changes will be made. But what I don't think I can do with the house that we have here, with the perception that the people have in the house, is to go in the house to be one of the representatives. I'd rather work with a president, which of course I know I'm going to win the election. I have the pedigree. I have the political connections with the electorate. I know I'm going to win. But of course, to every race, there must be a winner. If I'm not the winner, and anybody who wins decides that, look, let Jeremiah work with me, their work will make a difference. But I'm not too sure whether I'm ready or I am mentally prepared to work among those guys who, at the end of the day, they dash the interest of their citizens and tell people, for example, Abbott Chie telling Darius Dillon that when you come here, this is a different place. What we say here remains the final. This is a hall that is completely polluted, you know. So with my age right now, 52, it would take me maybe 20 years to make for those guys to get out before we make a difference. So what we can do, in our common saying, they say the fish can start getting rotten from the head. So if the fish will not get rotten, if the fish head will not be rotten equally, so the body won't be rotten. So therefore, if I can ascend to the presidency, I think Liberia will be on a rightful trajectory, and that's what I'm prepared for. So I will continue to pursue it, and I believe this time Liberian people are going to hear me, and I'm going to communicate the message clearly. Why I feel this strongly that we do not have the criteria of an independent nation. President, we do not have a government. We have a prototype of government in Liberia, which I call a private enterprise. I continue to hold that opinion until we can see something happen in Liberia, that the government there will be a government that will pay attention to the Liberian people, the common people who are not in the government. We cannot have an institution where in the country there's a role reversal in every institution, including the family. Role reversal. People who are supposed to do their responsibility, they're not doing it. Somebody else is doing it. In Liberia, the parents who are supposed to take the responsibility to feed the children, they are no more in charge. You know, the children in charge. That's why when you get to Liberia, you look in the street, you see children, babies sitting in the street or along the street side. Car killing them on a daily basis, motorcycle is killing them on a daily basis. But somebody will say increasing the rate of motorcycle in the street is creating jobs for the Liberian people, whereby they will not allow, are they bearing that issue? They will not allow their children to get in the street to sell, and while motorcycle kill them on a daily basis. I see that presidential convoys kill people from Ellington to present government and presidential kill people who sell in the street, but yet they don't want to remedy that situation. That pains my heart. Nobody going to treat my child like that, and I will like it. So therefore, I don't want for anybody's child to be treated like that way. So therefore, looking at this, what we have in Liberia, I think is a prototype of government. What we have is not an independence. It's not an independence that we have. We need to work towards true independence. Every home in Liberia will be independent of its own. Every child that graduates from college will be able to find a job. Look, you go across Liberia, instead of the knowledge-based increasing Liberia, what we have in Liberia, we got multiple places they call intellectual center, attire center. They call it intellectual center. Those children who do not have job, they go there and sit down there whole day, course not. At the end of the day, they go home and they become liability on somebody. I don't call those places intellectual center. I call it unemployment center. Liberia needs to wake up. We need to wake up and develop this country, period.
All right, we're going to be having a conversation. I'm going to be bringing in Professor Zawlo here, but let me just intrude into this here. I just want to double check to make sure here. We have a prototype of government. We got one from what his name here, this guy from the US here. So let me ask this: is this are you preferring this to the? There are three branches of government. Are there three branches you are putting together, or there's some sort of separation here? Only the executive or the legislative branch you're referring to? I'm just curious.
All of them. All of them.
Okay, I just wanted to. Okay, Professor.
Yeah. All right.
I see you spinning. I see you spinning in your chair. Something seems not to be burning within. Hey, That's the beauty of democracy. He expressing his view. But I'm wondering here whether this conversation is this conversation is ongoing within the opposition column, which is a major factor. And if that is the case, whether they have even reached out to express this thing out to the government out there. But from what you have gathered, what you have sensed out so far from what you are hearing from Dr. WHOPOE, what's your concern?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. So, and good evening, Dr. WHOPOE. First thing, before I even make a comment, I just wanted to get from Dr. WHOPOE because I am a person who believes in the numbers and the data. So I wanted you to just comment briefly, quickly. What empirical evidence do you have that leads you to believe that you're going to be winning the forthcoming elections?
Well, the empirical evidence that my institution is a research institution, and I'm a researcher on a daily basis. If not exaggerating a little bit by saying a daily basis, we collect information. What we are getting is that the people are hearing their voices in our voice. Once you see the electorate, they are finding their voices in your voice. There's a likability that they will sing with you when it comes to making decisions.
Okay. So that's good. Can you share that? Is there any way you will share those information with us so that we because that could help us to sway.
In a subsequent time, I will be looking forward to doing that for you.
But you don't
in a short distance feature, but not right now.
Are they classified?
You don't think it will be preferred
in a short distance feature?
You don't think it's preferred that if you're going to come on this kind of platform, you will have those things available so that because people will listen, they want to know what drives this kind of thought. And in the absence of those kind of things, you don't think it's kind of premature to be making those assertions when you are not ready to provide, the evidence for people to be at least.
Well, I don't think that is prudent, and I don't also think to come on this topic to look at somebody. Whoever gets in the race and say, I'm going to get in the race to lose. Do you do that?
No, but nobody.
Yeah, but nobody gets in the race. For example, nobody gets in the race and say, yeah, I'm coming, Professor. Yeah. Nobody gets in the race where I'm going to join the maritime, I'm going to go lose. Nobody does that. Especially though somebody like me. Right now in Liberia, I produce the larger farms in Liberia right now in various counties. And I have over 4,000 to 6,000 people working for me on each of those farms. And you are according to you talk about evidence. If you know statistics, every one person in statistics equivalent to 5. So if I'm feeling about 3,000 people, depending on me in Nima County, I got about 3,000 or plus depending on me on Bon County. I got 3,000 plus depending on me in various counties where I'm working. And I am not saying 100% they're going to be with me. But there's a chance. There's a 95% chance that these people will empathize with me so that the projects, what I'm doing for them, I will continue it. So based on that and other quasi experimentation that we have carried on, we said in a confidence that there's a likability that we will be the preferred candidate comes 2023.
So quasi information you have.
Quasi experiment.
Quasi experiment. Because the concern I would have, because even I just heard you talk about 1 = 5. I don't know in statistics. Again, that's another thing that I'm bothered by. What does that mean? That 1 = 5. By you hiring one person, it means that you possibly touching the lives of 5 individuals. Is that what you're saying?
Possibly. Do you find that doubting?
No, I don't find it doubting, but the way you said it was 1 = 5 in statistics, and I'm a student of mathematics, and so I didn't know that 5 was equal.
Yeah, I'm saying there's a likability. I tell you, there's a likability here.
I got that. And
you know, and I know that. For example, you there, if you're working for an institution, there's a likability that what you make in that institution, people in your house will benefit.
Yeah,
that's right. So, that's what we're speaking about. And because they are benefiting from you, there's also likability that they will empathize with the institution for which you work. And that is no doubt about it. I don't know why you baffle with that.
Okay, so likelihood, I understand you're talking about the likelihood. Okay, so the likelihood that, if you provide job to one person, is it likely that you are, feeding about 5 individuals? I got that, but the way you said it was a little bit different. But let's forget about that.
What would be the fine line, Prof? What would be the fine line between likelihood and likability?
No, that's not what I'm talking. I'm not even distinguishing between likelihood and likability. That's not what I'm talking about. Was you said 1 was equals to 5, and I had a problem with 1 being equal to 5. But we're already taking care of that. Let's get back to the substance of our discussion tonight. One of the things I noticed about your expose today is that you stress the word I. And the good thing about it is that statehood is not determined by individuals. It's determined by international laws and statutes. And so Liberia meets the qualification to be a state. And so the question about us not being independent, I think that is muted by the fact that we are recognized member of the Committee of Nations. We have a seat on the United Nations. We are respected in other country. And I do understand your concerns, your trepidations, and your feelings. I share your feelings. For a country of which have reached 174 years of independence, where we do not have schools, we do not have sufficient schools to provide education for our children. We do not have sufficient healthcare centers to be able to meet the health needs of our children. And wherein, we still have so many women dying in childbirth, so many babies dying before they reach their first birthday. It is obviously concerning that after these years, we're not being able to do that. But that does not take away from us our sovereignty. It doesn't. And when you talk about countries being able to give and countries being able to get, look, Liberia, you're 52 years old. I'm a little older than you. Growing up in Kakata, I know even in the 70s, I went to school with students from South Africa, from Namibia, from Botswana, from Lesotho.
Okay, I don't know. I think there's a hit on the professor's side there.
They were studying. They were brought to Liberia by Liberian government. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What is Samson still doing?
Yeah. I think that's Samson trying to mess me up because he doesn't want to talk too much.
All right, go ahead, Professor.
Yeah. What I'm trying to get at is that I have concerns. I definitely agree with you. I always tell our people, as long as we are importing pepper from Guinea, our currency will always suffer volatility. That's obvious. As long as we continue to depend on our neighbor for things that we could possibly do, that's a problem. But I don't think that's a way. That's a reason why we say we don't have an independence. And another thing is to say, when you say that. According to the data, also government is spending about $19 on a person every year, and you haven't seen it. I'll tell you, what are you talking about? Have you not seen at least roads being built, hospitals at least being built and run? Are you not seeing schools that our kids can go to, albeit they are not sufficient? That's when people talk about allocation per person. It doesn't necessarily mean that the person will receive it in the pocket. It is in the goods and the services that the government provide for its citizens. Let me just stop there and maybe listen to you.
Yeah, okay. Let you respond, and then we're going to... Yeah, Dad, go ahead.
Well, I'm so happy that the prof there lives in a great United States, and he had the opportunity to visit some real independent country. For example, United States of America is independent as much as Liberia is independent. Okay, we can jeopardize that, and we can say, unquote, Liberia is independent, quote unquote. All right, but in the United States, have you ever experienced people who cannot afford health care when they go to hospital and the government subsidize that and they have second chance to go home because the money is being placed there? Do you see that? I'm assuming that question is hypothetical. I'm not expecting you to say yes or no, but I know it happens.
I've seen the opposite.
Okay. We've seen that in Liberia. So the idea that government will put into budget and say this $19 will be spent on each citizen. Anytime they go to a hospital, it will be spent on it. Then you'll come and tell me, oh, have you seen roads have not been built? Don't we have budget for roads? Don't we have budget for education? You talk about even the budget for education you talk about today. The scholarship that was the Ministry of Education students used to benefit from to go to these various universities, that scholarship scheme is being canceled, that we don't know where the money is being going as we speak. Don't you also see that the executive mansion that we had that President Talbot used to be in, right on Capitol Hill. He has been budgeted for every year so it can be renovated, but yet we don't see where the money goes. Don't you see that as well? Don't you see also that JFK does not have bed? It refuses people when they go to hospital. They don't have medications in the hospital that patient got to come outside and go and buy medication on their own. Don't you see that as well? Don't you see that the reigning hospital in Kakata is at the verge of closure because government is not taking care of it? Don't you see that as well? Don't you also see that the referral hospital, Jackson F. Hospital in Nima County, the equipment that there can be transposed to Monrovia to serve other people, and patients will go to hospital there, they will not be able to have access to the equipment that there. Don't you see that as well? Don't you see that in Banga, when the hospital that is there, mosquito and all in the hospital, and people have not been treated the way they should be treated? Don't you see that as well? And you will sit here and tell me I don't see roads? Come on now. What we see in Liberia, the feeder road that we see in Liberia that is not commensurate to what they are consuming and the resources that are leaking to their pocket, you're not going to sit there to convince me on it when you just recently saw while Liberia is fighting COVID-19, when representatives are dividing $30,000 for engagement that they will not carry anywhere but to in the individual pocket, and you tell me I don't see roads when we're sitting down here in a split second when the government took over, when we all declare our assets to the Republic of Liberia. How much do we have in our coffer before vying for presidency? When George Weah, the current president right now, could not even declare $150,000, and in the less than 6 months, he bought a yacht. In less than 6 months, he built a multi-million-dollar house. Don't you see that as well? I think you see it, but I think you're a little bit blind on that.
Okay, let me come in here a little bit, and then the panelists are going to go there. I get it right here, Dr. WHOPOE, if I'm going off the rail here, so you can bring me to baseline here. From all of the points, these are legitimate points that you have outlined and pointed out here. So I'm wondering, are these the problems of the executive branch of government?
Like I told you earlier, the problems that we have in Liberia is not only the executive branch of government, because number one, the judicial system in Liberia is a robust judicial system.
There's a reason I'm asking that question. So I just want you to go there.
What I'm saying here, the reason you're asking the question and the reason must be so robust that I know about. What I just enumerated is not only the executive branch of government responsibility, because it is the right of the legislature to be able to summon the executive branch of government if something is going right. And these are things that they don't do because every now and then they share among themselves brown envelopes. We see it on a daily basis. Some people will give their own back, some people will not give their own back. You saw that even the senator of the House agreed that the impeachment of Cabinet Janet that went through the judicial system was a robust impeachment, that somebody dictated to them to impeach that. If you see a justice system like that in your country, and you call this country an independent nation, come on now, let's be for real.
Okay, Dr. WHOPOE, let me ask you here before I bring in my question, and I'm trying to get here. With all of these that you're explaining, which of course some of these things we see things happening, things not going the way it's supposed to be here. Why can't you guys, some of you guys here, because the first branch of government also must be held responsible. Very few people came out to call out on some of these people that are also from the opposition. They are also in the legislature here. They did what they could do, and people began to give justification. Why don't you think you, Dr. Jeremiah WHOPOE, take a challenge to Prince Yomi Johnson of your own Nima County so that you can go in there with a sort of vast knowledge here and tell you, boy, look, we need to take the bull by the horn. We should be the first. We should set the example, and we will hold the executive branch. And then the judiciary will put on their judiciary gown to be able to go into cases that are on the docket. Why only this presidency? Why they can't take on these other important, they are high-profile positions, senators, representatives, and they can carry on a lot of transformation. Of your own party here, Vision for Liberia Transformation. I don't think that it is only the executive branch of government should carry on that transformation. All sectors and components of government. Are you going to consider this action to contest for the senatorial seat 2023 for Nima County or even to the lower house?
Look, let me tell you, and the answer to your question is no. I'm not going to run for representative. I'm not going to run for senator. I'm going to run for the presidency. I'm going to run for the presidency. And I know that this time around is going to be better than you ever imagined. The point there is this: am I qualified to run for representative? Yes. Am I qualified?
You're acting like Alexander Cummings now. He want to be vice president. He want to be only president.
No, not that I don't want to be vice president. That's not the only position. Like I told you earlier, I'm not desperate for it. I'm not desperate. Even as we speak right now, my imagination that I'm working towards is that both the CPP and the Alliance come together. Let's go and debate the issue to the Liberian people.
That will not come together. That will not happen, Dr. WHOPOE. It will not happen.
Trust me. You want to put money on it?
He has been alienated. He's been seen as an outsider. He's a stranger.
Look, Alexander Cummings, let me tell you. Alex Cummings is a personal friend of mine. He and I talk almost, maybe it's not bi-weekly, we can say weekly. We talk on a weekly basis. There was some disenchantment that he had, and based on my personal advice, they are able to glue together today. And I can guarantee you this, that institution will stay together and will work together. Believe me, the politics in Liberia now has taken different direction. It's not what you and I might have thought about before. And this time we're going to come together and make sure that Liberian people get out of the politics that they are long for. We're going to do it. Trust me. Before I go to put money on it.
Okay, before I go to Emma George here, so you are part of the Rainbow Coalition, which is 11 political parties, correct?
That's correct. Seven right now.
7. What happened to the other people? They're going coma?
Well, the other people, they felt that coming together at this time was, to them, it's not something they were considering.
The brakes start falling down before even we get to the real maritime here. This is the one that is disturbing some of us. When we see you politicians, things happening in this kind of way is happening here. So, but before I go to Amos George, for now we've been hearing in the cycle here, Square out here, and let it be a breaking news for us here. We get old man Boyka, the man who has been in the longest serving government official. He's still in there. He still wants to be in the eyes. Ellis Cummings, they are shopping him. They are poaching him. You're not one of us. You not belong here. You are not the owner of something. So you can look at me, whatever way you are, Liberty Partisan. So let me hear from you. Are you contesting for the CPP leadership? Because we've been hearing on the Cummings and Boyka. Now you are part of the collaboration. Will you be contesting for the leadership?
Are you talking to Jeremiah WHOPOE?
I'm talking to Dr. Jeremiah WHOPOE.
That's correct. I'm going to run. I am going to compete with anybody that's in the field that looking for the presidency of this nation. I would love for Ellis Cummings and myself to stay on the podium. I would love for Ambassador Boyka to stay. I would love for the Honorable Yuri and myself to stay, so we can communicate our inner motive for the Liberian people, to communicate with them with clarity, not only with clarity, but objectivity that will communicate with Liberian people. Wow. And whatever that will communicate with them, they will know that how to achieve those various goals that we talk about, so we can line it up to them. In the absence of a financial or hegemony, we can communicate with them. When the final aspect comes later on, nobody knows how in somebody else's bank account we're going to communicate that to Liberian people.
You get to the bridge, you see what I can do there, or
that's correct. That's correct. So for now, I would like to see these people and myself stay on the same stage, look directly into the eyes of the Liberian people and tell them what we are, what we stand for, how we'll do it, and how can Liberian people benefit from it. I'm looking forward to that. And if all we do, if Ellis Cummings wins the Senate barrelship, trust me, I will run campaign for him. If we do, and Benena Euro wins, I will run campaign for him.
He can be president.
Yeah, if we do, and Ambassador Boyka wins the Senate barrelship, I will be willing to campaign for him. But what I will not accept is that going in a corner, few people making decisions for the Liberian people. I'm not interested in that. I want for all of us to stay on the stage. Let WHOPOE communicate his view to the Liberian people. Liberian people will be able to discern and make a decision, diving for the decision tree. They'll be able to make a decision that, okay, we can go with the president, and we'll go for the presidency and face Ambassador WEAH to see who wins. But as for now, nobody should doubt that there's a possibility or there's a likability that the political institutions in Liberia will come together and work to make sure that we regain our country from the political demagogues that we have here.
Wow. You know, the good thing I like about you, you're so accessible now, like the Cummings and the Boyka people, they shield these people here and they think they're just going to go swear that way. But the time will come, we will make that to come. Pa George.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions for Dr. WHOPOE. That the one with the last, did you participate? You participated in the last election?
That's correct.
How many seats your party did win?
We didn't. We won one seat, but we won one seat.
Let me just let me just finish answer and get down those questions.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, we're being joined by our senior analyst here, Mr. Jackson from the state of Massachusetts. Bringing Mr. Jackson as well.
After the election, all the by-elections, how many seats have we won? The fourth one is that you said that person we are bought a yacht, and scholarship has been diminished. Do you have documents to show to us that this thing you say here? Can you prove that to us? You mentioned about yacht, you mentioned about scholarship, that the money has been depleted. So I know you got evidence because you're that you deal with numbers, statistics. So can you provide us some evidence?
Should I respond to that now?
Oh yeah, let me ask him.
Great. The purchase of President WEAH yacht is an open secret. It's out there. If you want it, you want the evidence, which will be like the yacht docking, so we can take the picture and show to you. That's something that we can do. That's something that we have evidence on here. If you ask that the scholarship that was at Ministry of Education is not being enforced anymore. I don't know what document do you want me to show. When I'm coming out.
It's no more there. It's no more existing. That those were the, and that's why I'm asking you, can't you provide some documentary evidence to us?
Well, I don't know what document that you want me to provide when the scholarship that people sort of benefit from, they have been suspended. It's not active anymore. What document you want in that direction? Do you have, I don't know, somebody was doing something, they stopped. Do you want a document from that? I know it was there, but I know it's not functioning no more. I know this for sure because I'm a professor.
That's the WHOPOE.
Education.
Yes.
That's the WHOPOE.
You know what?
Yeah. Let's do one at a time, guys.
You said that scholarship has been depleted. It's no more existing. And I'm asking you, can you provide evidence? And if you want to do so, you can send it to Mr. So, and it will be available to us. You ask about the yacht. You say you got pictures. Send it to Mr. So. See the yacht.
Okay. Yeah.
And I asked you the few questions. The one was, since after the general election, how many seats, the by-election, how many seats your party has won?
Okay. And the answer to that question is, during the election, we won one seat. And after we won the seat, the person that won the seat, they transitioned to the ruling party because they want to sync with the crowd in the House of Legislature. They went there. And since the election, we have not been opportune to win any seat in the House.
Why?
I must be clear.
When you've seen that, you have the numbers on your side that will lead you to the presidency of Liberia. Why do you think that your people have not been able to participate in that process?
One thing you know is that the politics in Liberia is not about institution, it's individual. If the individual that is vying for the position is not likable by the people, they will not elect that person. So it's not about institution. So I want you to really put that at the back of your mind. It's not about institution. It's on an individual basis. So individuals who have been vying for those positions, number one, if the finance is not there, and because usually in Liberia, when you want to be straight, you face difficulty. People buy votes in Liberia. We see and we have evidence standing by to publish to the public at any time, where people go and pay for vote here with $20, vote for me, take the picture, bring it, I'm going to give you $20. We've seen that yet. So if you're not willing to do that and you are a change agent, it might be a little bit difficult for you to be able to seep your way.
All right, let me go down here, George. Let me bring in.
So just give me 1 minute.
Wait a second.
What you're saying now, that what you just enumerated, money and legibility is not there. Do you have the fund now to convince those people? And you talk about buying vote. Yeah, I do agree at some level. But what I saw, and let me make this clear. I don't support the CDC. But when George was running, he didn't have money. I didn't see him spending that kind of money. It was his legibility that poured him to the presidency of Liberia. Now you've seen that legibility money Do you have the funds now to prepare now that you will convince or do everything that you will win this election coming?
And the answer to your question is yes. I'm financially potent at this time.
Okay, correct. Okay, let's bring in from the Liberal State, Mr. Sam Che Jackson. I'm quite sure he pouring out something there. I don't know, Mr. Jackson, are you well situated now to bring you in?
Sure.
Okay, good evening and welcome. How is Massachusetts this evening?
Well, Massachusetts is fine. At least we started the rain this morning, but at least it's quiet here now.
Okay,
my brother and friend, Mr. Johnson, you've been going a long time. How you doing?
Good.
Okay.
I miss you though.
All right.
All right. He as our analyst here, LPR. Okay, your friend who messages you, this is what he's saying now. Liberia is not an independent country. Right after the day the president dedication, Liberian they were all in their colorful national attire, or red, white, and blue, flying that nation flag here. You had an opportunity to listen to Dr. WHOPOE when he was making his case. Do you agree with him on that?
No, I was driving and you won't believe it. I couldn't get the internet that much, so it was on and off. But when they say Liberia is not an independent country, I don't know what I mean to other people, because we all have an interpretation what independence means. But I don't think anybody, taking our freedom away from us, as far as concerned. We make our own judgment. We determine what we want, the kind of government we want to put in place. We are not being able to be, mustered by these imperial powers, almost the Western world. We make our own judgment. So it is because the way how we want to live. This is why sometimes we define it not to be independent. In terms of economics, yes, we are late, some part, we are not being able to produce on our own, so we depend on other people, for survival, but we make our own freedom for choice, and I would say we are independent, because what happened is we have, a country, nobody has been able to threaten it from us. We have our own civil war. People came, and define, and help us. So I feel that we might have our independence. If people feel that we don't have it, we can make our own judgment, and I would want to make that case.
So it's not commensurate. Dr. WHOPOE is great, but we will come to that. But the Liberal,
yes,
this is a very consequential and volatile conversation we get ourselves in here tonight. You've been listening attentively here. What are you dropping right now?
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I've been listening to the good doc for a very long time now, and like I said, I enjoy his writing most of the time. But once again, I want to go back to my original position, which is I see the doctor who could really, really help us in those positions as Senate or a representative. However, this is what he wants to do. But what I'm gathering right now from all indication is, in fact, I admire his ability to be part of the process. He doesn't want to come into there and listen to people. He wants to be on the table to be able to make decisions from the upper table, so to speak. And so his ability to want to be part of that is very telling. I respect that. However, knowing Liberian history, I think Dr. WHOPOE is also, it seemed to me, and I could be wrong, but it seemed to me that he's following the footstep of another good doctor, Joseph Kotu, who then during the 2005 election, despite the fact he was a PhD, highly educated, could have been very helpful in the House of Representatives as well, or even the Senate, but he decided he also wanted to be president. But what I see this thing happening is the doctor, and I think he mentioned that earlier, that I think he will position himself for the first round, and then the second round, and throw his weight around someone who perhaps will be the winner. And so then I'm speculating at this point, and then there comes the position of a minister. But if the doctor goes that route, then I think I will disagree, because he's qualified Only those who are not qualified for these kinds of positions will try to take the back door to go to the place, because his resume alone, they should be able to allow, if Dr. WEAH and CDC, if they were really open to help Liberians and try to assess the quality of Liberia, Dr. WHOPOE will be one of the first people that you will want to run to, because he has the ability to help him come out of the gutter that he found himself in. I mean, no pun intended.
You coming with a drainage, gutter drainage thing again?
No, I said no pun intended. So, but the fact that he's not doing that, and the doctor is there, he's not being tapped into. So I think he also, and Dr. WHOPOE, those of us who've been around know this young man very well. He's never somebody who will want to sit in the background. He's always engaging. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing here tonight. But the idea of wanting to be president, which is very good, but I think the doctor would sell us, all of us, as eloquent as he is, I mean, speaking wisely on issues that he's very versed about, if he can go to the House or the representative, and I know Doctor is quite aware that with his ability, people will gravitate towards him if he was to go to any of the houses. That he will look at Flanty Kofa. Kofa now Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. Now, Kofa is not more smarter than Dr. WHOPOE. There's no question asked. So if Dr. WHOPOE were to take that, to go into these kinds of places, people would gravitate towards him and make him part of the leadership, because he has the ability and he can change the system from that position. But, you know, he's Liberian. This is what he wants to do. And who am I to say no? Whatever it is, I said, God bless him. And whoever, because he's hopefully will be part of our coalition, and I will support him as well.
All right, Dr. WHOPOE, let's take a quick commercial break. So you're going to get a glass of water and the rest of the folks, and we're going to be right back to continue this conversation.
Thank you.
I'm Isaac Zawalo. I am an instructor here at the Arlington Career Center. I'm an instructor of mathematics. Mostly I teach the dual enrollment math classes for the Arlington Career Center. I've been here in Arlington for about 16 years. I originally come from Liberia, a small country on the west coast of Africa. It was established by free slaves from the United States. In Liberia, I'm involved with a series of educational projects. I own 2 schools, an elementary school in the capital city, Monrovia, and a secondary school about 40 kilometers outside of Monrovia in a little town where I grew up called Kakata. Well, the secondary school is called Giddings Polytechnic Academy. It's located about 40 kilometers outside of Monrovia.
Now, what makes Giddings Polytechnic Academy to be the best school is that at the Giddings Polytechnic Academy, we are introduced to elective such as drafting, nursing, business, journalism and creative writing, and agriculture. That's not all. We are also having a free access to the internet, and we are also introduced to ICT, that is the information communication technology.
The school is changing lives. Our parents are coming to the school and they are telling us, one, our teachers are consistently in class. Our students, the school is fenced, so our students remain on campus for the most of the day. The level of instruction, I've been told, is at the highest possible level for Liberia. In fact, it is projected that our enrollment will increase from 230 to about 500 for the next academic year. We are seeking help when it comes to technology, as I indicated. Any kind of resources that will help students to do better, textbooks, use textbooks, anything that will help ease the situation of our students. Anything will be appreciated. No, I look forward to seeing a relationship being built between the school in Liberia and our community here in Arlington. I consider Arlington my second home, and so I would want to see my 2 homes connecting.
All right, that's our own Professor R.C.C. Labozawlot of Liberia Public Radio. Again, please, that's the question. We're going to find a special time here where we're going to be having a conversation with the professor so that we can get a deeper insight of the work. But from what we see from the surface and things that we have been gathering, they are doing an extraordinary job, and I think there's a need that we cement what he's doing. I don't say my son, daughter, not in Morovia or Kakata, so I'm not going to give. I think this is what we need. This is what lacking. That's what get the society to be where it is. But we're going to find an exclusive time here with Professor Zavlo here to also put in. Of course, he's always been there. Let me go back here to the guys here. Dr. WHOPOE, are you there?
I'm right here.
Dr. WHOPOE, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess there were a lot of points were coming through. You want to respond?
Well, I want to first respond to my friend and brother Jackson. He gave his understanding of independence and in a connotation, which of course that's a context in which he sees independence that will make decision on our own. But equally so, I want for everybody to know that any law that disenfranchises people is not a law. So therefore, if you will have a law in a country that it does not have a utilitarian values where the majority of the people or everyone will benefit from, I don't consider that to be a law. So the independence for which we're talking about, you clearly stated that up to present time, we do not control our own economy. Up to present time, you clearly stated that we don't feed ourselves. Up to present time, you agree that our healthcare is under somebody. We always transporting people from our country to another country, which is, of course, is another means of capital flight. All of these things are happening. But because you understand that we have a territorial confine that is labeled Liberia, that means we are independent. I will profoundly disagree with that. And one thing I should let you know also is that in psychology, there's something almost all of us that are online here will know. You can have a visual hallucination, and you can be delusional on certain things. Maybe we Liberians we are delusional about our independence. We see it, but it's not a reality. Because delusion is where you will see something, you talk about it, you defend it, but the reality of it, other people don't see it. So I think that's what's happening to us when it comes to understanding the context in which we look at our independence. And I'm so happy that in this light, I happen to be one of those, or people that outside there like me, and some people who will agree with me. We are there to see, to be outside the delusional or hallucinational perception of most people who will consume the idea that Liberia is, yes, a truly independent nation. I hope one day the law that in our eyes that we looking at Liberia to be an independent nation, one day that law will be removed and we'll see the deficit that we have, then we'll be able to repair that deficit so that we can truly enjoy the independence that we talk about. I have to say that very clearly. And the prof was saying, they're asking me about evidence whether people the scholarship administer education I have evidence that is not enforced anymore. I don't know how can I produce that evidence. Somebody was doing something and they decide to stop it. Should I go and ask I want you to give me document that you stop this? I mean, that's what something that they did at their own volition, or maybe they understood very well to themselves. They were redirecting funding to another project that they wish they can benefit them. But I strongly feel that any policy, anything that is done in the country should have utilitarian values, which of course this is what has been happening in Liberia. Until these things are done, until Liberian people can be able to benefit from their government, versus government continue to benefit from them, we will not consider this country an independent nation. And I strongly hold to that. And those are you also asked me whether we have evidence of the president, current president, not having funding or what he has earned right now, whether I have evidence that he has. I mean, it's glaring. You and myself know that when the president took over, he never had 47 housing units, but in less than a year time, that's the property was built at the expense of the Liberian people, and nobody with responsible leadership would do that. And these are things that we see in our country, and that does not negate in itself that they are not able to do certain. They are able to do it, but they neglected to do these things there. So that alone put Liberia in a situation where we found ourselves to be delusional and having a visual hallucination about our independence, which of course I strongly feel that one day the law will be removed from our eyes, and the independence that we really want Liberian people enjoy. When the last child whose parent cannot afford a cup of rice to eat will be able to eat 3 times a day. When the last child whose muser is attacking them, when they go to hospital because the government is unable to subsidize healthcare so that people can have second chance to come home, when that day should come, that child will be able to have second chance to come home and call his or her mama or call his or her daddy again, so they can play together to have a family. And that's a family system that is lacking in this country. This government and every previous government that ever existed, they are on your own government. And I don't think the nation should be having a government that will tell citizens you on your own. When you cannot afford, you cannot take care of yourself, I mean, you on your own. And in that United States that you and myself know about, the government helps the citizens. When you can't afford, there's a subsidy. This is the reason for which I want for agriculture to be robust in Liberia. You see these 5 fingers, these 10 fingers that we have, they are not equal. There's a possibility, and always it's obvious that there'll be people in the society who cannot afford, but we should be our brothers' keepers. And that's what Liberia doesn't do. Liberia doesn't do that. If you don't work in the government, you don't benefit. When will we stand by our citizens so that we can be at least an assistant to prop them up to do what they want to do, so they can be able to maximize their potential? That's what the government doesn't do. So should I sit here, should I sit in this kind of country that help to push the citizen into a type of poverty? And the finance minister said because they asked them to diminish their salary, that means citizens will not be able to go to their houses anymore to stand there and beg them for back or right. Is that a country that you myself are really proud of? Say we are independent nation? I don't think so. That is not a Liberia I'm looking for. I'm looking for a different Liberia.
Okay. Let me come here, George. You're going to be coming in here, and then Zablo, we're going to do as possibly as we can before we let you go, and then we're going to profile the conversation here. And you are kind of striking some really fascinating and high core points here that I, share some of those views and opinion as well. Let me ask you here, this sort of conversation that you are having here, is this sort of conversation being kept within the opposition column as well? And if it is kept, is it extensive?
Definitely. Let me tell you, Alfonso, wherever you hear Jeremiah WHOPOE, I will continue to play this advocacy role. I will continue to highlight it. If you look into that manifesto that we have, the framework document that we just
I have all of them here.
You will see that we make sure that committee is set on every fabric of a government that will be able to cater to the people. We set committee on each of them, and research will be done on it almost on a periodic basis. So at least we can know what's happening in the country. There's not what is happening in our country here. Today, if I can tell you, census has not been done. How do you know the population that you are serving? No census. How do you know the population?
Okay,
how do you know the demographic? How do you know the demographic of your nation so you can be able to serve them? These are things that the government doesn't pay attention to. How do you know the poor people in Liberia? How are they suffering? How do you know there's a possibility of pandemic coming in the country if all these things are not researched? How do you know? Zero, nada.
Okay,
that's not the country I'm proud of to say that I'm independent nation. I will continue to fight for Liberia's independence until we can see it vividly. I'm clear and very robust in my statement that this country is not an independent nation, period.
This country is not an independent nation. Professor, so you want to come in or
yeah.
George?
I want to come in. I wanted to come in because look, I listened to Dr. WHOPOE. Great points. His catalog, the myriad of problems that beset our country. Wonderful, great presentation of the problems. Now, what I'm interested in finding from you, Dr. WHOPOE, is a way forward. Now, you have indicated tonight that based on your own research you're doing, which you will provide us the data with later on, and I will sure to get your information from Mr. Soul so that I can follow up on getting that accurate data that really tells us that you will be the person who will be elected. Since you're going to be my next president, can you explain to me?
Thank you.
Can you explain to me, how will you go about addressing some of these challenges you articulated tonight?
Well, the first and foremost thing that we will do when we take leadership in Liberia, I must be clear on this. It might sound simple to the Liberian people, But the responsibility of a leader is to see beyond the people that follow you. The first and foremost thing that we'll do when we take leadership in Liberia is to make sure that there is food on the table for everybody. Because a hungry man is an angry man. When people are hungry in their individual homes, how
will you do that? I know that.
I'm coming now.
But
I'm coming now. We're going to do that. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to put more money into agriculture. Besides subsidizing each farmer, Liberia as a government will be involved in food production. We're going to divide the Republic of Liberia into 4 agricultural districts where massive storages will be built and mechanized agricultural equipment will be imported into the country, that food will be produced and it will be stored, so that when hunger season comes,
where will the money come from? What allocation will you put in agriculture?
Say that again.
Where will the money come from? And what allocation will you give to agriculture?
Currently, Liberia has a budget. If I'm not underestimating, Liberia has an annual budget of $575 million United States dollars. Are they $575 million United States dollars? How much are they allocating for the Ministry of Agriculture to do
I'm
this?
not worried about them. I worry about you. How much will you allocate into agriculture?
Yeah, that's why I'm coming out. Let me lay the syllogism. There should be a foundation on which I was saying, right, Prof?
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm laying my syllogism. So with working with the current funding that we have that is being allocated on an annual basis, we would like to put at least $22 million into agriculture. $22 million goes to agriculture to go directly to farmers, subsidizing it at the same time, monitoring it at the same time, getting the food from there and pull it into storage. If we can do that for 2 years, Liberia will be able to feed itself when it comes to rice procurement in the country. When we do that, you will see that the noise in Liberia, because what's making noise too much in Liberia is poverty, and poverty that is being escalated by perpetual hunger in every home. There's a saying in Liberia, let me tell you this, there's a saying in Liberia that sometimes when the day comes, a child will wake up and say, I have not started my day. That means they have not eaten. So some people will be starting their day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Some people will be starting their day at 8 p.m. in the evening. This child who is starting day at 8 p.m. in the evening, do you think what advice the parent able to give to him so he can listen to them, so he can be able to get rid of the vitality of our society that we have today? It'll be difficult. So when we take care of that, the other thing we'll take care of. The second thing that will be able to be responsible, we'll be able to do this thing simultaneously. I'm just giving it in an ordinary form. Okay. The next thing is to make sure that security is in this country, because if you do not have security, my brother, you will not have investors to come in. The security system here is very poor. We'll have a stronger security system. We'll put more money in the security system. Hire young people who are supposed to be at retirement age, will retire there honorably, and put people with vigor who have passion to do the job, who have energy to do the job. We'll put it there and put more money there. For example, the Liberian National Police. Right now, everybody says the Liberian National Police is corrupt. How will you hire somebody and work in the police force when you hold a man responsible to buy his own uniform and the man is not taking pay on time? How would a man arrest a criminal on the street? He'd rather take the bribe and feed his family versus arresting it and report to government. So these are things. These are one of the, few of the things that we'll be doing in our government to put Liberia on the right trajectory.
What will you do to change that? What will you do to change the present dynamics? What will you do? You talk about it, but how will you do it? What will you do? What specific?
I already told you how we will reduce the poverty by means of agriculture. That I told you that we're going to say that you got that part. The security sector. The security sector, I told you how we do. I also said that we will be able to retire those who are at retirement age, who do not have energy anymore to do the job. And at the same time, we're going to pay people on time. And we're going to pay them handsome salary so that they can be able to respect the job. What made you and myself to respect our individual jobs in the United States, that we go to work, we don't steal, we go to work, we are responsible to report to work on time, and we are responsible to report to our various supervisors, is that the remuneration that we have from the job. And that one is not in Liberia. Once we are able to provide that to our employees, they'll be able to respect the job and they'll be accountable to wherever they are assigned to give all the right report. That's one of the ways we'll do it. And this will go across all government agencies that will be responsible for. We'll go all across government agencies. And once this is done, you'll see that there will be sanity in our country.
Okay, let's do a quick here. Because I'm coming.
Mr. So, I beg you. So once we get our agricultural thing fixed, we pay the police on time, then we get back our sovereignty. Now you got no more problem again with our independence issue there, right?
No, I said, listen to me. I said this will go across every agency that is one will do all of these things. Will do all of these things. People will be accountable. When you have a nation that is accountable, everybody is responsible to do what they do, and they are accountable. And if there's any ill done, they are prosecuted for it. You will see that what we expect to have it in a nation to call it an independent nation, it will be visible. You will see that.
Okay, all right. We get a few more minutes here with Dr. WHOPOE, and then from there we're going to here. Let me go to Mr. Jackson, and then Amos George, and we'll come to the Liberal. Maybe it's, in the next 15 minutes we'll wrap up. I will open the lines to see whether we can take few calls, and then we can profile the conversation. But there's one key thing, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Share the phone with us.
Well, you know, Professor Zao just hit the nail on the head, but let me just people will say that the only way we get our sovereignty is because the problem that we always encounter, like corruption, poverty, security. If this thing solved, that means they say we get our independence. Then I would say no, we are getting the definition right. And you understand? I just wanted to ask, him, what have you done that will make us say we don't have independence, so that we can have our independence? Let me give you one example. I just come in late. I'm just coming from the State House in Boston. They have a group of union, and every day, I think in Rhode Island, if you go to the State House, you will see a group of people always demonstrating, and they are demonstrating for their right. The Union of Massachusetts is demonstrating that COVID came, and the federal money that is sent, they should spread it around. You understand? Those people started demonstrating for the whole week at the State House. And they are not demonstrating to call a group of people. They call people who are specialized in the area, to give their position, on these things. I expect, my friend, and WHOPOE, to say, look, let me get a group of people, to go to the House. The people, this year they went crafted, $15,000 or $30,000 each in the budget. I expect civil society to come out now to say, look, this is part of the thing that bringing corruption, that bringing poverty, that bringing something. Nobody has come out.
No way.
If the people from America not come from here to say you're not demonstrate, nobody demonstrates. So where is where are you coming from that we don't have our independence because we have corruption, we have poverty, we have security issue, so we don't have our independence? I would say
that's the main reason that we don't have independence, because in an independent nation, the people's civil liberty is protected. In Liberia, the civil liberty is not protected. That's one of the main reasons that Liberia is not an independent nation. That's one of the main reasons, because people's civil liberty is not protected. When somebody speaks against their right, the next thing is that you will see gun and police, they will shoot it, knowing that we're just coming from civil war. That's the main reason that Liberia is not an independent nation. I think you should agree with me on that. In that great United States, people can go demonstrate and call the government to attention. Nobody arrests them. If at all no damages have been made, they will not arrest them. But not in Liberia. Go to Ministry of Justice. Say we need protection, so we can go express our view to the legislature. The next thing you will see, all the guns that in Liberia you will see in the street. Who demonstrates and express their view under that kind of a threatening situation? Nobody does that, but that's what happened in Liberia. So you should know that this country is not an independent nation. You just agree with me behind the curtain, because people's civil liberties are not protected. People's security are not protected. When you go against the government, you are haunted. Look at government cannot even investigate people that were killed, allegedly killed in this country. All the tales were killed. Government could not investigate and bring the perpetrator to book. They wait for autopsy. Does autopsy tell you who killed who? Autopsy doesn't tell you that. Is that a nation you call an independent nation that cannot investigate and protect the life and property of the citizens? Come on now, everybody. The first law of nature is self-defense. Liberian people do not have that defense. They do not have that security. If you get in the street to go express your feeling, you are haunted.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to have a Florida law when you become president, stand your ground. Let me go to Amos Joy, something too. We're going to take maybe 4 or 5 questions from Dr. WHOPOE before we know it's extremely late inside Liberia. Amos Joy, go ahead quickly. I'm going to try.
WHOPOE, let me go back to the economy. You said that when you become president, our president, you will allocate 22 million from the budget to put into agriculture. Now, can you tell me what sector of the budget you're going to take that money from? Because to allocate money, you got to cut down something on the other side. You talk about the security apparatus, and you want to increase the budget. So can you tell me, President Dr. WHOPOE, which sector of government you want to cut that money from to allocate to the agriculture and security sector? And what will happen to that area that you're cutting the money from? Second,
no one.
Hold
First thing you should know is this: we will do what they call position audit.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm asking when I finish, you go ahead. My second third question has to do with this. You said that the president did certain things. You did not use the word alleged. And I strongly believe if you say someone did something, it means that you got evidence that he did it, because you are not saying alleged again. And because
what you got certain things, be specific. If I say he did something, be specific.
Hold on. You said the person had a, let me go back. You said the person has a yacht. You told me, say, if I don't see it, you talk about scholarship. You are not alleging. You are saying that this thing has been done. Hold on, Doc. You said that this thing has been done. And I strongly believe in order to say someone is guilty, only the court has that jurisdiction to say someone is guilty. And you are not using the word alleged. And tomorrow, if you can become president, I don't want someone to say that WHOPOE did this with all no evidence. So I'm asking you, what is the evidence you have that all these things happening? Because only the court can say someone is guilty. So can you explain to me why you seeing this and why you don't want to present evidence? If the court had found if the court you supposed to allege, use the word alleged.
I will not use the word alleged when I'm cognizant of what's happening on the ground. I can't use it because I know so.
No, it's not that the WHOPOE is not because.
Okay, let him explain, Mr. Joy. Let him explain his justification. Why you not using the word alleged? We'll have to go further to deeper. Go ahead.
I just told you I cannot use the word alleged on what I witnessed. I can't use it. What I know that there's, I'm coming now. I'm coming. What I know that I witnessed, what I know that there's evidence to establish anywhere, anytime, that if when it's likely to be done, will be done. I cannot allege it because I know so. That's one. That's the reason I'm not using the word alleged. Now, the question you asked is that you were inquiring about where will we get the funding from for the security sector, where we'll get the funding from for the agriculture sector.
Sector you're going to cut. You said because the Liberian budget is $575 billion according to you, and you said that you're going to in that budget you're going to take $22 million and put it to agriculture. Security you're going to allocate another fund, and I'm asking you, which sector of the budget area that you're going to take that money
where
from?
Were the courts? Where were
listen to me. That question, I love the question, and this is what we're going to do clearly. First of all, when we take over as government, we're going to do position audit, because there are more positions that are being replicated and duplicated, and people are sitting down doing the same job, taking money when there's nothing being done. So when we close those loopholes, the funding that will come from there will be more than enough to take care of those stuff. You understand? So we'll be to every sector that's in Liberia, there will be position audit. You cannot have 2 or 3 or 4 persons doing the same thing in the same place at the same time. No. One will cut down, will be able to have enough money so that it can go to those various sectors I'm talking about. So where we'll get the money from is not a question. The where we'll get the money from, the place is already there. We're going to go and do audit to every institution in Liberia. And those who are not working, who are duplicating function, they will be able to. There will be option for them. We'll provide, but they will not be able to duplicate positions and get money for it.
Yeah,
Mr. George, I beg you. Let me ask him. I beg you. Let me ask him, because he's our president. He's our incoming president.
Yeah.
And so we want to hold him to the facts. How did you reach that 22 million? I mean, you said 22 million. Where did that number 22 million come from? That's one. 2.
Okay.
Position audits you're talking about, have you already done some work on it? And you know for sure that when you do this position audit, you'll be able to generate a certain amount of funding. And how much is that funding? Liberian people don't want to explain to them, show them what you have done and leading you to making these ascensions tonight, which I think they are fine suggestions, fine idea. But tell us, where is it going to come from? What has you're in Paris.
Let's do it here. We are already out of time here. So, Dr. WHOPOE, where do you think? And I agree with you because whatever harmonization that it did, they just take one thing to another and kind of to recycle. But where do you think the pitfalls of the government sector or autonomous agency that specifically you have on as agenda that this is where the whole problem coming from? This is where I'm going to hate. Where is it? Is there anything?
No, let me tell you. It is the problem that we have in Liberia is not specific to one institution until this is what we're going to get for. It's all over. There's a resource leak in every pocket that you see into the wrong pocket. So therefore, when we do the audit, the first thing you see right now in Liberia is that there's no investment in Liberia for Liberians to work. So when citizens are employed, when their work taxes can be collected, it will be able to fund some of those stuff. That is not something that we are discussing right now. That's another story. But one of the key areas that we can get most of the money from is to do all the position audits so that people who have been replicated, positions that have been replicated, will take them away. One person does one job. Even if somebody's responsibility is not to the tax that they are being hired for, more responsibility will be given to them, and those money will be taken to be used for another purpose that will benefit the utilitarian interest of the Liberian people, and we can do that.
Okay, the Liberal, let me bring you quick here before we already out of time. I get one more thing here, then before we can let I will put a number on. Liberal go up first, and I will put a number up.
You see the difference between.
What are you talking about? Different?
You see the difference between where you are and where I am. You guys are cruising, or I'm sitting down here. The heat is killing me. I do have air conditioning.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to take a few calls, and then before we profile the conversation, one or two things before we wrap it up for the evening. The go ahead. And I know you're going to face an article water bear from Dr. WHOPOE here again, which of course that's who you are. Go ahead.
Well, once again, I just want to say thanks to the good doc. I mean, I'm truly enjoyed the conversation. What I do with observation here, I think if the doctor is involved with Benina Ure, and Dr. Bakai on a debate stage, there will be no amount of water in Liberia that will satisfy the thirst of the three people that I just named, because Dr. WHOPOE would take them to the clinic, to be honest with you. Because not that they're not able to explain themselves, but these are people that I'm not too sure if they have ever engaged, will ever be able to say, yeah, I have engaged somebody in the character of Dr. WHOPOE. I think it's going to be very interesting. And I hope that when that time comes, that we will be able to air it here, because it's going to be very interesting. Not only does he have the ability to understand, he's very respectful, but he is not taking a backseat to anyone. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting.
Debate in Liberia.
Yeah. One of the things that I suspect the good doctor would do once he's successful merging with this collaborating political party, he will ask, and I think that would be one of their debate. I mean, one of their negotiations, he will ask for the debate. And that would be one of the point he would want to bring out. Say, you want me? I will come in. I don't mind coming, joining you guys, but we will have an information or conversation among us between to have the Liberians to listen. And I think it's going to be very interesting, because
there should be a fact check.
Yeah. If these people are not on their toes, or I mean, no pun intended either. If they are not on their toes, they most likely would not be successful. So I just sit here for once. The liberal progressive very quiet tonight, because I'm enjoying myself, and I listen to the good doctor explaining himself. And I think his not one question that I've been posed to him that perhaps he trying to want to scratch a hair or try to miss words. There are so many. There are so many answers, especially living in Liberia. And I think the doctor has done himself a wonderful job by going to Liberia, experiencing the situation in Liberia.
So is that what you brought us on the show tonight?
Well, you guys, please don't try to manipulate
this. Is how the media. This is how this media. I've never seen any news anchor.
This is what you do. You like to sanction me at the liberal progressive. You want to sanction me. You want to be quiet. And so you three, the center right and the CDC professor. Oh, Dr. WHOPOE, you don't know that. He's a CDC professor, by the way. But anyhow, you guys, I am here as a counterweight, and I'm not going to kowtow to any of you. So please don't try to shut me down. Let me make my point to the good doctor, and then I can excuse myself if you don't mind. So anyhow, doctor, thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Like I said, you have already had the experience that many of us don't have. And
I'm honored to be in your company tonight. I'm honored to be in your company.
Look, this is so ridiculous. This is why the media industry in Liberia, to see an angle who is talking to a politician, thank you. Seriously, something told the liberal. Let me ask you here, Dr. WHOPOE, before you be making your final statement. And like I said, I have followed you. This year, if I'm not mistaken, from the voice of Jide to we know where we came from here.
Definitely.
When I'm talking to politicians, there's nothing like an empathy or sympathy with them. I have to ask you straight up front, in a very respectful context, and that's the kind of conversation. Now, you are part of the opposition, and I know you to be the guy who is not quiet, who doesn't speak quietly. I am wondering here, you're going to be an audit. There's an apprehension. There's a doubt how the president came to bailing all of this. This is something that I follow. I did not get an answer. And I think we need to have an answer. But I'm also wondering here, like in the case of Tanzania, after the death of Magufuli, the then vice president, who is now the president, has called for a comprehensive audit of the same very government she works in. And she is the president now. I've never heard that from the folks of Joseph Boyka, who was with Helen Johnson Sirleaf. No car went down the hill. No car was buried. But yet and still, we are still talking other things here. Is that conversation ongoing within the collaboration? Is Joseph Boyka willing to speak to that?
Well, let me be clear on this.
And the reason I'm asking, you want to be around clear folks. We can't have it this way, that way here. He needs to come forward. I'm not sure whether he has even taken responsibility. All he said was whatever car that was packed, we don't know. I don't buy into that. I do not buy into that. He needs to come. He's telling her he's on loan. The part of the collaboration. They are shopping Ellis Kume aside that he's not one of them. So I don't even see the future of this collaboration.
Are you here, Mr. Stroh? Are you here running campaign for Ellis?
I am not running.
This has been the first time you come out here saying that they're shopping Ellis. What are you?
I'm saying you heard what Euro said. Here is the view here.
You're running a campaign for these people, or what is it?
And I'm saying, you heard what Benana Euro said. You heard what Joseph Boyka, the guy who you consistently praising here. These are leaders. They are not even allowing the process to play out. I am concerned because when they screw up, Liberia screw up. And I know this man here very well. I want to get his thought. I'm not here to play into your narrative. I'm asking a legitimate question.
Mr. Seal, let me tell you this. I am not here to talk for Boyka, neither talk for Cummings or any of them, members of the four collaborating political parties. What I can speak of, because I'm a member of that institution, is the Rainbow Alliance. I'm not going to blow anybody's phone. But what we know, that no stone will be untouched. No valley will be deeper that we cannot reach. No hilltop will be too long that we cannot climb when it comes to making sure that Liberia becomes a real country and independent nation. Nothing. So what does it mean? What it means is that we will make sure that anybody, if you got something from this administration, past administration, or whatsoever, we decide to extend our audit. will audit you. If you took penny from the Liberian government, you must replenish it with interest. It happened in the state of Illinois. Rob Blagojevich went and attempted corruption by making telephone calls to sell his position. We know what happened to Rob Blagojevich in Illinois. Everybody knows the story. And Liberia, that's what happened to independent country. That's what happens in independent country. And Liberia should not just be a prototype of a nation. It should be a real nation that things that happen in other countries that made a country straight, that make people respect the law, we should be able to practice it. We should be able to make it so that people can be able to respect it. And I can guarantee you this, because we believe in a justice system that will be created, that will be re-nourished, that will be rekindled in Liberia. Our institution, when we ascend to the leadership, will make sure that what will be done, especially when it comes to auditing, so what was taken from Liberian coffer will be replaced. We're going to do that. I'm not going to speak for Mr. Boyka if at all he will be the celebrant for their collaboration. I don't know, but I can sit here comfortably and speak that when the Rainbow Alliance assume leadership in Liberia, they will be different, and we'll make sure Liberia will be a country that everybody will be proud of.
So wait a minute, you are part of the collaboration. So will you be going solo? Is that what you're saying? So are you saying this sort of conversation is not kept within the system, within the bare will?
No, there are two different collaborations in Liberia. They got the Rainbow Alliance, which is a conglomeration of 7 political parties, and they have the CPP, which is a togetherness of 4 political parties. So I am a member of the Rainbow Alliance.
Is Rainbow? Can you tell us? Does Rainbow have an intent to merge with the 4 collaborated party? Any conversation going on?
No, we don't want to merge, but there's a likability that we'll collaborate. Merger is different from collaboration. There's a likability that if all we put our values on the table and they put their values on the table, and everybody is speaking the same thing in the interest of the Liberian people, we don't want to crowd the political field to say we are going to crowd the political field. If we can go and stand and communicate with the Liberian people, the plan that we have for them, how we will execute this plan. And let me tell you, when you're looking for leaders in any organization, you don't choose the leader when they are looking for that leadership. When they are looking for that position, that's not the time you make the decision. Investigate them when they were living their private life. What were they doing when they were not vying for that position? If you can do that, you'll be able to make a sound decision. This is the thing that Liberian people lack on. Not investigate all of us that are looking for this position. You investigate our private lives that we used to live before we came to this place. You will be able to come up with a good leader that you present. You will be able to sell to the Liberian people. And I definitely tell you this: if this kind of investigation is done, I am not perfect, but I think I'll be one of the likable person by the Liberian people.
Okay, that's the voice of. We're going to be wrapping it. Anybody want to say something? 30 seconds, so that you will make a final statement before we conclusion.
Okay, let Professor go ahead.
I would say something. Thank you very much, Dr. WHOPOE. I really enjoy your engaging you here tonight. I look forward to having the opportunity to engage you more. My only advice to you is that, I mean, you have a firm grasp of the problems, but I did not see the depth that I wanted to see in your prescriptions for the challenges we have in our country. I think they were void of substance. They were circumstantial.
I think that's the post-interview analysis we want to be doing, or you want to provide our counsel before.
I just want to tell him. Let me leave that.
That's his opinion. His opinion is not fact. They ain't talk.
Yeah, so I just want to give that. I'm not telling. Yeah, so I just want to say.
Go ahead quickly then, because
it was a good opportunity to speak with you. I hope maybe you take my own suggestion, and maybe you sit down on it a little bit, and maybe we can engage one another another time, privately or so. And
he's always open. That's a good thing about him. Okay, Imajori, 30 seconds quickly, then we have one more topic.
Dr. WHOPOE, thank you for coming, and he highlighted some of the problems in Liberia, which of course I do tend to agree with him. But again, the solution put forward, that is up for debate on some of the issues. And by my final question to him, Dr. WHOPOE, 7 political parties. With 7 political parties in Liberia, I would assume that you will have the numbers now to win an outright election. Is that true?
There are chances. There are chances for us to win the election. I'm not going to give. I'm not in the minds of the electorate, but there are chances.
50, 60, 70%.
Well, I have not calibrated any number on that, but there are chances for us to win the election.
See that? I like that, Dr. WHOPOE. You see.
Okay, quickly, Mr. Jackson.
Dr. WHOPOE, thank you for coming to LPR. I may want to differ a little bit, as I take my stand. I don't want us to equate, that the non-enforcement of laws in Liberia is equivalent, to independence. I don't take that, for something. If people are not enforcing the law, that does not mean to say we don't have our independence. And I would suggest to you that you start engaging, in civil society, to start going, and to the capital, to plead for those things that you are advocating for. Because if you start doing it, then people will know that you're really, really serious to get Liberia. But really, in the line of independence, I feel we have our own independence, or we don't have it. We don't have the enforcement of rule of law, and that's where I stand. And thank you.
The Liberal? We're not hearing you.
I hear you. I also want to extend my thanks and appreciation to the doc for even coming on this platform. I think we in the diaspora are very anxious and eager to hear from them from time to time. Even though he's not in the president yet, but he's already have ears out there. I think some of the information that he has, many of them most likely would not be able to ascertain all kinds of information. So for him coming out here tonight and duking it out with the center right, I tell them the doctor held his own with the center right. I truly appreciate you guys and the professor. You guys really pushed the doc, but he can't. He's on his own, and so that's what I'm enjoying myself sitting down here paying attention. But I truly enjoy myself. The exchange it's educational. And a teachable moment for all of us here as well. So once again, I just want to say thanks for that. But please don't hesitate to come back here on LeBron.
He's the guy. He
always.
Okay.
Always.
All right. So Dr. WHOPOE, let me show you two images here, and I'm wondering whether this was also ever unfold in the divisive political ground that we are in, and now you're going to respond. There you see is the sitting president of the Republic of La Côte d'Ivoire, Alassane Dramane Ouattara, and Laurent Gbagbo, who, quite recently released from the Hague after a decade. They met and have a conversation. I'm wondering what else, this is the four major political actors in Liberia. One is missing. I'm wondering, not even 1, 2, 3, you're one of the political leaders. I'm wondering what at some point in time we're going to see down the road. These people, you always sit down with President WEAH, whether he wants it or not, but to demand, say, hey, we need to talk some of these issues about our country and see how the country can move forward. Do you see that happening anytime?
Of course, yes. Let me tell you something. George WEAH is a person. When he has the right lieutenant, he will make good decisions. And let me tell you, in politics, we have 48 laws of politics. And one of the laws says that if you want to make a sound decision, your inner circle, if your inner circle is good and they give you rightful pieces of advice, you are more likely to have that moral sentiment, according to Adam Smith. The moral sentiment is where you counter transform other people's feelings and ask yourself, what if it happened me? How will I feel when this thing that is happening is happening? If you can have those people who will have that kind of moral thought to dispense pieces of advice to the president, I know he's human. you'll be able to make sound decisions. But until we can reach to that place where people will be placed into position of power based on their competency, but not based on how you know them, it will be almost difficult for us to reach there. But the answer to your question is yes, we'll reach there.
1 minute, your closing argument before we let you go.
Well, distinguished gentlemen, I'm deeply honored by your presence and the variety of knowledge that was dispensed on this platform tonight. I'm honored. I learned a lot from all of you people. And I think every point that was made, I would take it into consideration, process it, and see how it can be a beacon of knowledge that I can use when God blesses me to ascend to presidency in this nation. I think you guys represent individual institutions when it comes, starting from family to the upper institutions in our society. And by God's grace, I can guarantee you, this nation, this hungry nation will be fed. This insecure nation will be secure. This jobless nation, there will be flood of employment in this country. And people who might be listening to us at this point in time, in the forgotten villages of our countries and in places of exile, let them take courage that at the end of the tunnel, there's this light. The hope is alive. Let's keep the torch burning. Liberia will gain its Liberia will gain its reputation among the community of nations that the position we play before as founders of OAU, Organization of African Unity. We will go back to that position and people will respect again. Instead of expelling us from our original role, we'll be able to stand strong in front and play the leadership role among our nations. I want to say thank you very much. And you are my good friends. I look forward to meeting you guys personally and via a virtual conversation like that. I look forward to it. I want to say thank you very much, and let's keep the torch burning.
All right. And you forgot something when you are elected, then the independence Liberia again, the right independence, correct?
Yes.
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay. Okay, folks, in the last 10-15 minutes here, let's do a quick profile, but I want to try and weave a little bit something that I kind of like was catching during the week was this. Let me put this here, and I'm going to bring in Professor Asese Labozawo. He supports the agenda of this government of Dr. George WEAH and the collaboration. Let's say here. So stop asking the questions surrounding the president taking the vaccine. I am sure when the president is ready, he will take the vaccine. This is the person in charge of the health institutions of the Republic of Liberia. I've never seen anything like this. I'm not sure how they can adequately make the argument when the Minister of Health. We now know Smith Toby having a tired tongue, been struggling to ask this question. This question was asked overseas. This question came during the press briefing, and it was just swept away. We now know one can easily make an educated guess from what the Minister of Health is saying. Professor, let me just bring you in here because this one happens to drop right on your own lap. Do you think that was the right way the Ministry of Health to articulate, to explain, to provide narratives surrounding the president taking COVID?
That's what I was saying. The Minister of Health has been very busy. She's been doing a wonderful job trying to manage.
That's not a question I'm asking, Professor.
I will answer your question. She's been doing a wonderful job trying to manage the third wave, and she's made tremendous progress. The numbers in Liberia are coming down. The World Organization, the different relevant United Nations agencies has applauded the government for its accomplishment in the last couple of weeks. That's something that's uplifting. But when people are working so hard like that, sometimes stress, sometimes lack of sleep, let me say, I think the minister misspoke. I think the main issue here is that, like I said to you, I will encourage the president, if his doctor advises him.
Was she acting? You said misspoke. That means you don't think the minister was acting on the president?
He did not speak on behalf of the president. I don't think the president told her.
So then why the executive marshal is not coming up to clarify?
Like I said, look, President WEAH is more concerned about opening the roads, to get the freeway running, the Japanese freeway running. He's more concerned about how the students at the University of Liberia will resume their online learning. He's more concerned about how Liberian students will perform in the WASH exam that is coming up soon. He's concerned about reducing infant mortality rate in the country. So when those problems are addressed, when the time he takes, he's going to focus on those problems. And then when there's a time available for the executive management people to come and answer to those mundane trivialities, then they will do so. But for now, I don't think those things are very, very much important to respond to.
I don't know why
the government is winning the war against COVID. That's what I meant.
Yeah, it's the thing. Yeah, it's the saddest thing. I don't know why these people kept putting you in a very difficult position to find an explanation, to find a tone. So let me go to the another liberal here based state here, because the liberal is about to unload. He's about to unleash on you right now. So he's coming. But let me neutralize, let me stabilize this already tension thing in the last. We've been having a good conversation. Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Come on, listen to what the professor is saying. The minister misspoke. She took the vaccine. The vice president took the vaccine. The speaker took the vaccine. How can he effectively tell the Liberian people when, from what we know now, that this vaccine seems not to be a minister? The president, I don't know. And the reason I'm concerned, he's the president of the Republic of Liberia. In as much as they're fraught with his policy and other things, I want the president to be. Is that a good explanation? Do you think that the minister, first of all, let's now hold Professor Zawlo here. The minister, was that a strategic way of communicating? Don't worry. Stop talking about the president's vaccine. It's none of your business. Let me just paraphrase here. You mind your own business. You go take it. The president take it, and not your business. Come on.
Look, Professor Zhao, let me tell you, if Professor Zhao were to work at the executive mansion, I would say, yeah, he would be a good PRO for the president because he knows how to get around it very well. So I would advise you that they pick you, as one of the advisors to the president to educate them how to talk. But let me tell you the fact. It seems to me that most of the people that are in power, they don't know how to relate to the public, especially what you have to do with public, and figure. They speak as though they are in their own homes. They don't know how to address the public, especially when you come out to look at an issue. I expect when somebody talks, for them to say, look, the president having so and so issue, whether he take it or not, this is why we observe, or you keep quiet. But don't go lash at, at the public, to me, as though the public, they are some kind of, servant to you. You don't care what you say to them. To me, I didn't take it that much, as though they take it into a good faith. I think they just want to say something out there. But President WEAH need to sit down and look at his communication team to see how best they were able to speak out to the public. It's one of those things that is hurting him because he has not been able to come out to say things. So he trusts those people that are in the media or those who surround him to do that. And Professor Saulo, I would recommend him to be one of those to speak on behalf of the president.
That's a diplomatic professor. He knows how to pivot and deflect questions.
He's good.
Okay, so Amos, I want to bring in a liberal, but I let a liberal be the lie because he's going to throw a bomb here. Then we all go for the rest of the evening because he ready to get on the professor now. So let him be the lie. When he fire his missile, then we all go for the night. Pa George, why GOL is still unable to articulate their own message while they are unable to fine-tune their message to get it out there, not just only to the Liberians, but you get it out also to the diplomatic enclave, people that are within your border. You can have all of these leaders already there, that they administer the vaccine. You can't say, you don't talk about the president vaccine. How can he go back there tomorrow and tell the citizens, say, take it, when there's no evidence, there's nothing to suggest that you yourself, your vaccine is being administered? Go ahead.
I will go one step further. These people don't respect the Liberian people. For the Minister of Health to tell the Liberian people that it is the president's prerogative, it's not your business. She forgets to know the president is the property of the Liberian people. Every move, every step he takes, the Liberian people pay him. She should have known better than that. That's an irresponsible statement on the part of the Minister of Health to tell the Liberian people that. The president has not taken the lead since this COVID, this second variant. We see in other countries, they have health minister, they have CDC, they speak. But the president of those countries taking the lead to speak directly to the people. You think the Minister of Health in America would come and tell the American people it is not your business why Joe Biden took it, or the Prime Minister of Britain? You think the Minister of Health will come and tell the British that the British people that you people is not your business whether the Prime Minister took it? You think Macron will allow that to happen in France? No. Germany? No. But Liberia, because these people feel that, look, these people don't deserve any better, any answer from you. You are a leader. You don't listen to you tell them what you want to hear. It's exactly the attitude the Minister of Health displays there. Talking about it is not your prerogative.
Yes.
I mean, come on. What is just a human that people have to address a citizen? Is there no better way to put it?
Yeah, give her a pass. She was tired.
You think by being angry, you think that will alleviate the issue? No. You create more problem. If you are angry, you don't have the patience, do not take the position. She was not under stress. This is something that I have calculated to tell the Liberian people, I will talk, I'm the Minister of Health, and let me see what they will do. And this is the kind of attitude these people have. It's not the first time for the Minister of Health to come in and throw that kind of statement out to the people. Where is the president in this COVID-19? Has he gone on radio besides a one-time demo recording and shove it in the cassette to tell the Liberian people if this man cannot come out July 26th to give the person hope that we are in there together? But the Minister of Health coming and tell people it's not your prerogative. This is why they insult the people every day that they say they claim to represent. And I just feel sorry for them. And those people who stand outside, sit down someone and say, but where are the people going? Are you serious? The international community is watching us. And you come on to say that to the president. He's not accountable to you. He owes you no explanation. That's what it meant. And it is so sad for our country.
All right. We are running out of time here. Okay, let's let the ball drop from Saxton, Sacramento. He's about to take his bundle. So he always said that every other week somebody got to put their foot in their mouth. The Liberal.
Mr. So, it's about time you let me be the last on this show instead of having the CDC professor or the center right to be the last. So it's about time. That opportunity, I appreciate it. But I hope this is not going to be the last time either. Thank you very much. So, Mr. So, Mr. Professor CDC always saying that they're doing stuff. And on a very serious note, why the professor was speaking earlier on in the day, you had a picture of a road, Somalia road or something like that. And if you look at that road picture, if you look at that, yeah, right there, from the beginning of that picture to where that signboard ends over there, that's almost like 500-600 feet. And as you go around that curve, you still will not see any sign of people crossing the street.
I said it.
This is Liberia.
I said it.
This is a street where most likely they're going to say you're going 30, 35, 40 miles an hour. And there's no way for you to say people are crossing. There is no fence to stop the people from coming in the street. This is Liberia. Building the roads are not just the thing. Building the structure, vertical structure is not the thing. Look what happened to this moving people from red light, which is a wonderful, wonderful idea. But look where they put them. The people were not even able to count how many people coming from red light and going to that market ground. This is CDC. So I enjoy CDC when they do these kinds of stuff. Look at the major one, the one people are going to be discussing throughout this week, including next week, is that Indian man feeding 4,000 Liberians. That Indian man, what he did was disgraceful to us, but we brought it on ourselves. And the president and CDC, anybody who loves Dr. WEAH, you will point out to him, you have the opportunity or the ability to speak to, you will point out to him that this particular picture will cost CDC the election. This particular picture having they're having that Indian man feeding 4,000 Liberians in the sun. And look at the building. The building is so bad. It's like most of the people over there. And where is the area? Around the graveyard. Our culture does not allow people to go and beg for food like that. And let alone the Indian man standing there. And they mind you now, this Indian man, Jetty, according to the story, he's the only person who allowed to do the strap business in Liberia. The CDC government gave him a strap business. He's the only person, so he's getting money. But that's not the point. You don't bring people in public like that for international community to see Liberians standing in line. Whereas when Dr. WEAH goes places, they give him money. But yesterday we can't feed ourselves. This particular picture will be the cost of CDC being one-time government people. So, Mr. So, I enjoy CDC when they bring out this subject matter. The room, when I came out earlier, Mr. Josh was talking. Let me just answer Mr. Josh quickly. From all indication, there's nothing as intersections. There's nothing to say, because when you're doing construction, intersections of road where they intersect, those are the first place you start your process. Because by doing that, you will know how far you want your road to go. If you know the right of way. They don't even know the right of way. They got nothing. And my people are sending me some more pictures, and I will do the Ralphie Highway. This is a disgrace that I enjoy. Because why? This is what's going to knock CDC out. We the opposition, stand no chance if we go with popularity content with Dr. WEAH. Forget it. They will whoop us. But CDC got no plan. CDC got nothing to offer the Liberian people.
So, something.
Yes.
Mr. Toh, let me ask you here quickly, and I like your analysis, and we point out it is, but is this conversation, is it being kept as it should be from the opposition column? Their talk show hosts, their commentators, their advocates, are they adequately creating that sort of narrative?
Well,
because
I enjoy
this sort of stupid and crazy thing. It's waste of time. You want to point out something that is concrete that will resonate with the people, but they themselves do not have it.
Mr. So, as far as opposition is concerned, they got no platform, none whatsoever. You can't consider my causing platform to be the platform of opposition. You can't consider a platform of somebody who is dead against Dr. WEAH so much that every little thing, even if Dr. WEAH sneezes, then it becomes a new. You can't count on that to be the opposition platform. But however, Mr. So, the opposition, the CDC platform, the young people themselves, I enjoy them because they lie so much that you can catch them lying every day, and we will use the opportunity against these people.
So how will you use it? How will you use it when you just alluded that the opposition doesn't have a platform?
Oh, but the opposition will, Professor. They will.
Okay.
They will, definitely they will. And people like you will be one of the people to testify on our behalf. People like you will testify on behalf of the opposition.
We saw some tonight. Some of your plans in the house here. You guys are going to spend $22 million on agriculture. Where are you going to get it from? We don't know.
And let me just say,
you're going to do positional audits.
Yeah,
and we don't know yet whether even the position audit.
But you see the budget.
The young man you saw tonight, he will be somebody that you, Professor, and the center right will gravitate towards. Because the first thing is that
it's not I want facts.
Something I don't know where it's that from.
You talk about
but if somebody talk about Boyka, Dr. Boyka, WHOPOE here tonight, now that way he going, he forget about Joseph Boyka. He not even calling any candidate for his party. Liberty Party, you don't have anybody? Or Musa Ability?
We will. Look, everything have time. It is a collaborating political party, as you know. Second, after all of the process, Then they will come out to say who they're going to send as a standard bearer.
Look,
Now the standard bearer then becomes the person who will talk for us. But this is what CDC don't do. Jefferson Koji talking for CDC, Monuba Monu talking for CDC, Dr. We are talking for CDC. They got nobody special to talk for CDC. So as a result, they scatter all over and stepping over one another.
Because
They have no control of the message.
Maybe because CDC has a lot of versatile people. Today I had.
You call Jefferson Koji a versatile person, professor?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Samson. You're a smart man. You're a smart man, and you know that sometimes. I take for example our former president Samuel Doe, who did not go necessarily to the University of Liberia that some of us went to, but I know people looking back will tell you how much he learned over time by the fact that he was in the executive mansion. You could tell that he was learning. Some people learn very fast. I've interacted with Jefferson Koji. I interacted with Mamba Molu. These kids, look, they are bright.
They are adults. They are not kids. These are grown.
Professor, these people refuse to do what is right. Hold on, Professor. You know you're engineer. You know this. How long would it take for Jefferson Koji to put up something in Nigeria where you want to put a trash?
All right, I'm out of time here now.
I understand. But I understand. I want to tell you something today that I listened to Musa Belete. I think he's the chairman of the Liberty Party. He was on Spoon.
He is.
He was on Spoon TV, and I think it's. Convention. I mean, he couldn't explain the CD document. Disgraceful. It was really embarrassing. So I think the time I watched it, you going.
What's that thing you talking about?
The CPB agreement.
Yeah.
The CPB agreement. He just couldn't explain it. It was disgraceful. It was just really. It was very embarrassing.
You sound like Key Hassan right now. So I watched that, and I think most ability did extremely well. He did a wonderful job.
Ben Sabi helping him. Ben Sabi had to come in several times to at least give him a what they call it, softball.
Mr. Jackson,
you know what you do? Sir.
Quickly here, the Liberal. This is the problem we have, and Liberia issue will continue. It will never be resolved. Everybody protects his or her own. The Liberal here, something now, is providing VIP protection even when it is done badly, but because that his partisan. It goes to the CDC. So how can we get this fixed yet? This is why we're going to be inside for a long time. All right, gentlemen, you want to say something, Brad Jackson, before we wrap up?
No, here? I just want to say thanks to everybody. Especially it was a very good discussion. I was really moved by the closing remark of Dr. WHOPOE. Okay. Yes, I think he has something to learn from us, from today, and we learn from him too. I hope we can bring him back next time, and I hope at that time he may be able to get his independent, as he said.
Yeah,
but it was a nice discussion.
All right, gentlemen, Mr. Sam Jackson from the liberal state of Massachusetts, of course, the most liberal on this network, predominantly liberal, toe from head to toe. Something toe based in
You didn't call me Mr. Please, will you? You said Mr. Jackson, then you reached to me, you said Mr.
Toe.
Mr. Samson Brown Blokuto.
Toe, yes.
Are you okay with that?
Mr. You call Mr. Jackson?
What you want again?
Well, I said Mr. Samson Brown.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part. Okay, that's good.
Oh, it's all about, look, title is not a thing. We want functionality. People must function. That's what we want. Okay, Mr. George from Atlanta to Georgia, senior contributor, and of course, our own Professor Asese Laboza. Guys, I want to thank you so much for your time this evening. Time has caught up with us here, and that's how we're going to leave it. And of course, our many followers, for some reason, their phone here, I think there's something to penetrated my phone here. I couldn't get phone call. I don't know what was going on. But guys, I want to thank you so much. By God's willing, same time, same network. Sunday, we will be here with more other informative news network. Believe me, somebody going to throw their foot in your throat again before this 2-3 days before we get to Sunday here. And
your doctor said something. He said during the OU day, Liberia will go back, and then he said at the same time, it's not independent, but then he said the old good old days will come back like the OAU. You know,
that's how these dishonest politicians. That's how they say anything to get state power. That's how that's their culture. That's how they are. So we used to that. All right, guys, have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, Mr. So. Good night.
Well, folks, that's how we're going to bring the curtain down here this evening. I'm Alfonso Z, and so right here from the New England Bureau to Ocean State of Rhode Island to Liberia Public Radio, keeping the news proportional in the honest and fair to balance. No matter why it is, we talk it as it is.
Hallelujah. Giving the highest praise. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. We're going to give in the higher praise, the K praise, and right there's a Liberian gospel artist based in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. For those of you for the very first time joining us here, we say a very, very big thank you. And please subscribe, follow to LPR. And our invitation is still out there to the Kumi folks, to the Joseph Boyka folks, and all of the major political actors. There's a need that we have a conversation. They all must be held accountable. There's no way that we can give these people the easy pass, because they will say anything, they will do anything to get to state power. See what our lawmakers, it is ridiculous in the midst of this high times for them to cleverly, politically, on purpose, to give them, to pay themselves 30K. I don't know. And we expect, and we talking about good governance. It's just not possible. These people, they must be held accountable. All branches of governments must be held accountable.
Hallelujah. Giving the highest praise.
Okay, folks, have a pleasant time. Thank you so much for your time, for your patience. I will sincerely apologize for whatever reason. I'm not sure what the phone line wasn't working tonight. It was not on purpose. It don't usually happen, but hey, this is something that we don't really have control over. To all of you, we want to say thank you so much. Let's keep the conversation safer. Let's keep it in the context, in the interest of our country. We can agree, disagree, but safer conversations potentially can get us to find a remedy to a solution to the main problem. Because when you're cussing me and you're not persuasive, you are not pointing out the ills, how you're going to do it differently, and what makes you so qualified, or how to say, that's the problem that we are having. Some of these people, they are just unable to effectively sell their candidate's agenda. They go on the program to talk about themselves, and even the person they tend to represent. Know about the person, have the person's agenda. It's all about that individual. But when you go there and people take your time to listen to you, and you want to be cussing, and you want to focus on the opponent, you can talk, draw the contracts, and bring in your person picture, and let them make a pick. That is okay. That's how you persuade people. But when people disagree with you, you block them, you are alienating more votes for your guy. Until then, folks, have a pleasant evening. And I'm Alfonso Z, and so that's how we're going to bring it down here this evening.
Do what we are doing. Do I blame my mom? 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 Do what we do. Even my jam blow you. But when you jola kana oh my no, na you but when you boss you jola kana. Do what we do. Buy again on dale. Buy again on dale. Buy again on dale. Even boss that go. Can you? I will get on you. I will get on you. I will get on you. Even what I love, Mamu, you should have done it. You are in my no, yeah. Do what we do. Oh, fear you are the way you are.
Welcome to Fiber Queen of Woodland. Everyone that's looking for nice African for wedding, whatever fiber you need, you can just come over here. You have all this nice stuff. If you need ashebi, you guys can come over here for baby shower, for wedding. You guys are welcome. She have really nice stuff. You can see all over there, all those men over here. You don't have to go to the theater and then they're going to be telling you all kind of stories. You can just come here. They're already made. And for ladies, you can just look for whatever fiber you're looking for and match it for the men. And, your husband already have a shirt made. You can get stuff for your kids. You can get stuff for the whole family. We have African slippers and ashobi hair ties all over. We have different kinds of lists and everything. So you guys are welcome, okay? It's really nice. It's Fiber Queen on Woodland, 95 off of Woodland. 6625 Woodland Avenue, okay? So you guys are welcome, 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 welcome. You have nice stuff here for ladies, for men, for kids, and for everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Fabric Queen of Philadelphia. Fabric Queen of Philadelphia is 100% African-owned business. At Fabric Queen, we are specialized in high-quality wax product, Swiss lace, jewelry, and beauty products that will make you shine like the queen of fabrics. We are located at 6625 on Woodland Avenue, 10 Philadelphia. Telephone number 215-800-0228. Tell the management of Fabrics Queens in Philadelphia is easy and salt of the Liberia Public Radio gives you this message. Tell all Akwaba.
My name
is Abatipi Timogo and I'm working with KC Apartment. I'm the customer service manager. KC, as the name implies, is standing for Krayi Alashi Shek, and it's a real estate agency that was founded by our CEO. And this company has been in existence since 2 years now. So we are pushing our 3 years of existence. We offer one of the best services ever in Liberia as agency. So we are involved into so many real estate work, such as the selling of SIM cards, apartment renting, land leasing, and we also involved into garbage. And we also help people to get nice property in a decent apartment for rent, for lease, and we involve in other activities like selling of small phone like PCO, and we also sell scratch card and that of mobile money USD. Okay, basically we have places all over the Painesville, Converton, and Singapore. So for Painesville, we got places within the WEAH, Subatan, GSA, Tiporo, Police Academy, SD Cooper, AB Topper, and that of the Boulevard. And for Converton, we got places opposite Ministerial Complex, around Unity Party Headquarters, 540. We got places in Fish Market, Oro, from Moma, Matali, Airfield. So we got places running from Painesville all the way to City Hall. I would like to appreciate all of my customers, most especially those ones are reliable. I will say thank you for the time being, and I will also let them know that if they want a decent or nice apartment, they should always come to number 1 KC apartment, and we are there to offer the best services ever. And we promise that with no regret, we will not delay, and we will not.
I just want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Liberia safe forever. So open up your heart, let the unity begin. Love is all we need to make it stand. Let's cultivate one another, learn to live together.
You've worked for months to bring your or your client's event to life, but unfortunately, the world had another plan. In reality, the only thing you lost is the venue. We take your vision for hosting a virtual conference and bring it to life online. No matter how complex your agenda is, we produce a smooth, engaging experience. Call the Liberia Public Radio today and schedule your event. Our number is 682-433-8802. If you prefer to submit your request via email, please send the request to liberiapublicradio2012@gmail.com. Our staff are standing